With these wet roads and a whole bunch of folks trying to get out of town for the holiday, boy, traffic is a mess already. On the West Loop, 40 eastbound at exit 208, we've got a crash. Also on the South Loop, another blockage for left lane blockage there. Got a stalled vehicle, 40 westbound near exit 210C. On the East Bank, 24 eastbound near Shelby Avenue, a crash. Another injury wreck, 40 westbound just before Spence Lane. And a crash 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. Also, 24 eastbound, we've got a wreck at I-440. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello, friends. Welcome, one and all. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another day. Happy to have you with us on this Friday, May 22, in the year of our Lord, 2026. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative. We hope to make the next 4 hours as entertaining and informative as possible. And we start off with some breaking news in mere moments. I will give the pleasantries right now, as we are on episode 1043 of our visits together. Started from noon until 3, graduated to 3 to 7, and here we are, and here we sit for 1043 episodes. I thank you for spending time with us, whether you're on the radio dial, 99.7 FM. Perhaps you're listening on one of our various apps. I mean, we have our own app, SuperTalk 99.7 WT, and you type that into your app store. You can take us wherever you go on your mobile, your smartphone device. We're on a number of different other platforms that are often utilized for this purpose, like iHeart, TuneIn, Spotify. Those are just 3. And we're also on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. For you masochists in the listening audience that want to watch me hold my little fluffy Pookie Bear, which is what I'm doing right now, hi. You can do so on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Occasionally, you'll see the lovely, you hear the lovely voice often, and if you're watching on Talk TV, you see the lovely face of young Jackson Williams. Jay Willie's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. Hello, young Jackson.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
I'm all right.
Just all right.
Bell tooted in here on the way out.
What?
I mean,
by
you
the
heard
way,
me.
hold on, stand by on that. Jay Harper's back in News Closet B. He's gathering headlines and delivering them twice an hour and when it breaks in the absence of Ken Weaver, who is off for today, and obviously all of us off for Memorial Day this coming Monday. What is up, Harper? I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays.
I know, it has been a while, Eminem. And also, I'll be filling in for Mr. Weaver on Tuesday.
All right. We got a double dose of Harper.
Yeah, so he's taking a little extra time off. He's in the Carolinas preparing for a wife's wedding, or a wedding of his wife's family,
That's
I think,
right.
is paying for. Anyway, they're going to be holding a wedding for his daughter.
Yeah,
in Charlotte.
somebody's going to be somebody's going to have to wear clothes they probably don't want to wear.
Right, correct.
You know, and
families.
And I bet be outside at some point in the heat. Right. He did say that he was like a mile and a half from Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's not bad.
For the Coca-Cola 600. Speaking of that, we're going to continue to discuss the death of Kyle Busch. It goes beyond the world of sports. Anytime you lose someone that is such a large figure in the given profession or sport that they're in, it merits a conversation. And frankly, I am a NASCAR fan. I'm a racing fan. And so I'm probably going to gravitate to this a little more than some on the News Talk station. But I think that enough in the listening audience have interest in this. I mean, obviously, when someone dies an untimely death like this, there's a natural interest in what happened and why it happened. And Kyle Busch was a very polarizing figure during his life. He had softened his image over the latter portions of his life over the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. I mean, I said yesterday, I hate it. I've been a NASCAR fan since the early to mid-1990s. I came in on it like 1993. I was running races at a radio station, and I would go home on the weekends. I was in college in Carrollton, Georgia, And I would go home on the weekends to my hometown of Thomson, Georgia, Thomson, no P in Thompson. And I would run races. I want to tell you a little about that story coming up in just a moment. We've got John Roberts, who is with Sirius XM, the NASCAR channel on Sirius XM, is in Charlotte today. And we'll talk with him at 3:35 just to get a sense of the atmosphere surrounding the news of the death of Kyle Busch and the race that is, there's a race. There's a truck race tonight. Obviously, there's a O'Reilly Auto Parts race tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, and then the big Coca-Cola 600 coming up on Sunday. For you racing fans out there in the audience, you probably already knew that. But before I get away from it, so you're saying that Bell farted in the control room?
Yes, sir.
All right, so hold on a second. Just hold on. Hey, Bell, don't put him on camera. Just come in here. I want to talk to you for a second. Don't put him on camera. Honor his wishes to remain headless. We're gonna honor his wishes to remain headless. So do that. But Bell K, a former producer of mine. Oh, Bell doesn't trust you. He doesn't
At all.
He doesn't trust. I don't blame you. Bell is my former producer when I was on from noon until 3, and now Bell produces Chad Benson's show from noon until 3. And young Jay Willie is now the producer of the afternoon show.
Jay Willie.
Yeah, he's got like 14 names. He's Action Jackson, Reaction Jackson, Y2J, that's pretty good. Because he was born December 30th, right? December 30th, 1999. So he's Y2J, get it? And then and we call him Jay Willie. We also call him Truffle Butter, but somebody said that's nasty. Don't do it anymore. Speaking of nasty, Jay Willie has randomly accused you of farting in the control room.
No, that is not true.
All right, he said Bell is going to go ahead. Are you laying down that that's just the way you smell then?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's just the way he smells.
Okay.
Are we done?
We're done.
All right, we're good. I felt like it was a vicious attack, a producer on producer violence, and I didn't care for it. I just want to clean
That's kind of it is kind of hurtful.
I mean, come on, Jackson. Jackson, you fart in there. You know.
Oh,
you
yeah.
do.
I mean,
But I'm the last one in
night.
here.
I'm clean.
That's actually pretty good.
They don't linger for Sam.
Jackson said he's the last one in here, so he gets to fart.
Well,
I think it's kind of
couldn't
fair.
necessarily argue with that.
It's kind of fair. And frankly, who cares if we leave it for Sam? All right, see you, Bell. Thank you. All right, Bell's got a lot of work to do. I appreciate it. I'm glad we could clear the air. Huh? You need some Glade or something in there?
No, I'm good.
You need some spray the spray? All right.
I guess whoever smelt it dealt it.
He who denied it supplied it. I remember that one from, what was that, 5th grade?
Back when it was ye old elementary school.
He who asked it passed it. I mean, can we get any more juvenile? No. Well, actually, that's a challenge, and maybe we can. All right. Obviously, it's First Amendment Freestyle Friday. I'd love to get your telephone calls. It's my favorite thing to do, especially on Friday, communicate with you. I mentioned breaking news, so I'm going to get into that in just a moment. But line them up at 615-737-9986. If you have thoughts on the state of the world, thoughts on Donald Trump, thoughts on Thomas Massey, thoughts on what's been going down over the last week with Iran, thoughts on, obviously, it is Memorial Day weekend, and I have a lot to say about that. If you are a regular listener to the show, if you have caught me in years past, I have a Memorial Day tradition. I've been telling this story that happened to me for, I guess, about 10 years now. I want to say I could probably date this to the passing of Erica's grandmother, and I think that happened in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Her grandfather, Lieutenant Colonel George Holy, passed away in 2008. I believe that's right. And in 2011, Natalie passed away. And I date them that way because it very much has to do with the passing of her grandfather in Arlington National Cemetery. It's a story that I've been doing over the years called The Waiting Lady, and we'll do it at 5:05 today. And if you have never been to Arlington, or if you want to find a way to honor, I don't pretend that it is anything other than my experience. I don't pretend that it's anything other than something that happened to me that touched me deeply, deeply in my heart. And So I related on an annual basis to the listening audience, and several of you reached out to me. Actually, I got a couple of emails last night asking if I was going to do it today, and we certainly will. And that's at 5:05 this afternoon. In the immediate aftermath of FriJay, FriJay will be here at 4:05. Your legal questions, get them in at 615-737-9986. Until then, anything goes, any telephone call, any topic. We'll take it on a First Amendment Freestyle Friday on a holiday edition. And man, oh man. So you guys know I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue, right? So I move out to Mount Pleasant, Tennessee, which is a first. Well, that's just that goes to say that I did something. Maybe my timing was off. But yeah, I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. See, that's a reference I bet you don't get.
No, I'm familiar with people sniffing glue.
That's an airplane reference. You know the movie? Speaking of movies, Jay Harper needs to participate in this. We need at least 3, if not 4 movies for the Matt Murphy movie Mayhem happening in the 6 o'clock hour. And Jay,
Yes, sir.
here's the way we do it.
Okay.
I pick a movie that I know Jackson hasn't seen. Jackson picks a movie that he knows I haven't seen. And then you, normally it would be Ken, but you in this case, Jay, and I'm giving you a couple of hours advance notice.
All right.
You pick a movie that you've enjoyed that maybe we've seen, maybe we've not, but you throw a movie into the mix. And then the audience will select the movie that Jackson and I watched this weekend. And then we review it on Monday. You see how that works?
All right. Very, very
So
good.
I'll give you, for example, my movie is going to be The Matrix. I've seen The Matrix. I love The Matrix. I think Jackson will enjoy The Matrix. And you've never seen it, right?
I have not.
Well, that's a good movie for you. Have you picked yours yet?
I have not, but last night I did see a movie that could be on the list.
Oh, I'm going to have to go to the theater to see it?
No, I'm not going to make you go to the theater.
You saw Michael last night.
I did.
You want to give just a quick review of
Quick
Michael?
review?
Yeah.
Really fun. I mean, if you're looking for some bombshell, new information about Michael Jackson, you're not going to be satisfied with this movie. But if you want 2 hours of just kind of fun, bebopping time, it was a good time.
So the family signed off on this film. So
Yeah.
you're not going to get any of the scandal. You're not going to get, but you do get some of the rough relationship with him and his dad, right?
Yeah, the family tension is there. Although you can tell the brothers were more involved than the parents, if that makes sense.
In the tension?
From what I've read,
His dad was pretty bad. From what I've read. I don't know.
yeah, but it seems like, I don't know.
0338 says Matrix is a documentary. Fair. That's fair. So anyway, Jay, you'll come up with a film.
All right.
I've got my film.
I've already
Jackson,
got one. Already got one.
Okay. Well, hold on. Don't tell us. Don't tell us yet.
Nope.
I want to wait until 6. But Michael, you'll give it what? How many Jacksons does it get?
I'm going to give it 7.8 out of 10 Jacksons.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's not bad. But it's like if you want to go out and just understand his genius in music and dancing and the early life, because it ends like in the 1980s, right?
It ends in 88 with the first performance of the Bad Tour.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of pre-trial, pre-accusations, that sort of thing. That would make sense. All right, well, there you go. 19 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WT, and here's the breaking news. So we talked for a while last year about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador, and a judge forced the Trump administration. I love to bring this up for you liberals out there in the audience that Trump's an authoritarian. Trump's a dictator. Trump wants to be a fascist like Hitler. It's like, then why does he comport with all of these legal rulings? He gets a lot of them in his favor. He gets a lot of them on his side. But when he doesn't get one on his side, he abides by the rulings of the court. And it's just fascinating to me. It's like, y'all, he's doing nothing differently than any other president in the history of this country. Now, he might be a little more bombastic about it. He might go for it. He might do things that some would consider to be political suicide, but Donald Trump's willing to go there and do that and make it happen and get it done. I count the number of things from his first term and his second term that he's made happen that previous presidents wanted to make happen, but never had the intestinal fortitude or, dare I say, the cojones to make happen. Moving our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, building a ballroom, just two examples, one from the first term and one in the modern sense. But Donald Trump's administration abided by a judge's decision that we must return him, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, from El Salvador back to the United States of America. And it was that time, upon further scrutiny of the Abrego Garcia case, that it was determined that Abrego Garcia had been involved in the state of Tennessee in what was considered to be a human smuggling operation. And so the federal authorities charged him with human smuggling. You're not going to like this. I warn you. Abrego Garcia, it has been ruled in Nashville by a U.S. district judge by the name of Waverly Crenshaw. Have no idea who this fella is. He granted Abrego Garcia's motion to dismiss his case involving human smuggling for, quote, selective or vindictive prosecution. According to the judge, without Abrego Garcia's successful lawsuit challenging his removal to El Salvador, the governor would have not brought this prosecution. Well, of course they wouldn't have Judge Crenshaw. He would still be in El Salvador, you dope. He dismissed claims of new evidence against him, did the judge. In earlier court filings, Crenshaw wrote that he found some evidence that the prosecution, or that he had found evidence that the prosecution against Abrego Garcia, quote, might be vindictive. The judge said many statements by the Trump administration raised cause for concern, cited statements by Todd Blanche, then Deputy Attorney General, now Acting Attorney General, that seemed to suggest the Justice Department charged Abrego Garcia because he won his wrongful deportation case. Once again, Judge Crenshaw, of course that was the case. Had he lost the deportation case, old boy would still be in El Salvador where he belongs or wherever he wants to go. You ain't got to go home. You ain't got to go home. You just can't stay here. First Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee, Rob McGuire, had resisted requests to provide documentation and testimony to Abrego Garcia from senior justice officials. He was charged with human smuggling and conspiracy to commit human smuggling, with prosecutors claiming that he accepted money to transport within the United States of America people who were in the country illegally. It was from a 2022 traffic stop in the state of Tennessee that he was stopped for speeding. Body camera footage from a Tennessee Highway Patrol officer shows an exchange with Abrego Garcia, 9 passengers in the vehicle. Officers discussed among themselves the suspicion of smuggling. However, Abrego Garcia was eventually allowed to continue driving with only a warning because there wasn't a hell of a lot that the state of Tennessee could do about it under the Biden administration's rules of engagement. A Department of Homeland Security agent testified at an earlier hearing that he began investigating the traffic stop after the U.S. Supreme Court said April 2025 that Trump had to work to bring Abrego Garcia back from El Salvador. According to the Supreme Court at the time, the deportation violated a 2019 immigration order granting him protection from deportation to his home country after the judge found he faced a danger there from gang-related activity. If this guy gets out on the street, he will be a darling of the political left. They will celebrate him on the political left, despite the fact that he clearly came into this country illegally. He is clearly a gangbanger. He is reportedly a spousal abuser. And they will prop him up much in the way that they propped up George Floyd. You know, we're at a point in our dialogue in society where I can't call George Floyd the ne'er-do-well, the lowlife that he clearly was. But, you know, I don't wish death on George Floyd, never did. But that doesn't mean that we have to pretend like his life was angelic, Mother Teresa-like. Anyway, 25 after the hour, your thoughts on that? Just getting underway. It's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. Speaking of friends, J.K. and Erica Brister are not just owners of U.S. Pest. They are friends of mine. They're friends of this community's. They love you guys in Middle Tennessee. They love Middle Tennessee, as a matter of fact, and want to keep it Tennessee, if you know what I'm saying. But that doesn't mean that we have to put up with the bugs that come here. We don't have to. You can eliminate the bugs off your property and out of your house and out of your life with a telephone call to U.S. Pest. And that's what it's all about, friends. Eliminate the spiders, eliminate the roaches, eliminate the fleas, eliminate the ticks, eliminate the stink bugs, all of it gone with one telephone call or one visit to the website at uspest.com. It's what they do with a 100% money-back satisfaction guarantee. So if you're not satisfied with your current pest control company, or if you don't have a current pest control company, my goodness, it's time to get U.S. Pest on your team. They will assist in eliminating the bugs that bug you. That's what it's all about. USPest.com or call 590-1260, 590-1260 for our friends at U.S. Pest. Hello, friends. You wouldn't drive a car without suspension, would you? Well, I wouldn't recommend it. Why would you mow without a suspension? Friends, Ferris, their commercial mowers, they set the bar as the first and only manufacturer to integrate suspension into their new mowers. I've seen these. I was down at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply in Murfreesboro, 2 Fridays ago? And man, oh man. Or maybe it was last Friday. No, it's 2 Fridays ago. Racing-inspired, patented full suspension and integrated cutting decks. You can go faster. You can cut better. You don't get beat up. They hold 16 separate patents around the suspension technology alone. Forefront Suspension is the industry's most advanced independent suspension out there. They have 4 steel control. Just go see this for yourself at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Whether you're a professional cutter or a homeowner that wants to mow like a pro, Ferris is at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. They've got 7 Middle Tennessee locations to serve you. Find out more online at DickensSupply.com. That's DickensSupply.com for Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply.
It's 3:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you that wet forecast and an updated traffic report here in just a few minutes. In Sweden, with foreign ministers of NATO countries, Secretary of State Marco Rubio today asked whether movement has been made toward fully opening the Strait of Hormuz.
We also have to have a plan B. And plan B is, what if Iran refuses to open the straits? What if Iran decides we refuse to open the straits, we're going to own the straits, and we're going to charge tolls for it? Okay, at that point, something has to be done about it.
Demonstrations in Havana, Cuba today over the DOJ's decision to charge 94-year-old Raul Castro in the 1996 shooting down of two planes carrying humanitarian aid to Cuba from Miami. 4 U.S. nationals were killed. The indictment leading to celebrations in the streets of Miami from Cuban Americans, hoping it could be a step towards bigger change. ABC's Matt Rivers, he was in Havana.
There were not a lot of people who were really in favor of either government. You know, you had a lot of people who blamed the Cuban government that we spoke to, who were not happy with the way things were, who very clearly faulted the Cuban government, but they also faulted the United States government and the ongoing blockade there. And I think what you end up getting when you're talking about Cubans on the island, I can tell you most of them are not super happy. Living free is going to be a matter of interpretation depending on which government you're talking to. But I can tell you they are suffering on a daily basis.
Back here in Nashville, Matt's been talking about it, but if you're just joining us, a human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, whose mistaken deportation helped galvanize opposition to President Trump's immigration policies. His case thrown out of court today. His deportation to El Salvador last year became an embarrassment for the Trump administration when they were ordered to return him to the U.S. Abrego Garcia claimed that both the timing of the criminal charges and inflammatory statements about him by Trump officials demonstrated that the prosecution was vindictive. U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw, ruling from here in Nashville, granted Abrego Garcia's motion to dismiss for, quote, selective or vindictive prosecution. That's the latest news. We've got your weather. We've got your traffic. Both of them don't look very good. That's coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. All right, I don't have enough time to go through all of the wrecks that are out there with these wet roads, but I'll get to as many as I can with the interstate crashes. First of all, as you heard, we're still dealing. West Loop, we've got a crash, 40 eastbound at exit 208, 24 eastbound near the Shelby Avenue exit on the East Bank, a crash. Downtown, 40 eastbound at Demumbrian Street, a wreck, an injury wreck, 40 westbound before Spence Lane. A crash has the right shoulder and right lane blocked, 65 southbound at Trinity Lane, and 24 eastbound at 440, still working to clear that crash. And we've got 65 northbound at Dickerson Pike, a wreck in Madison. I'm Jay Harper.
Miss rain showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. The days are not washouts, but there is more rain coming from Memorial Day on Monday.
When you sit down with Shane Ring of Cover Nash, he truly makes the complex simple. And trust me, health insurance plans, they're complex, and they're complex on purpose. Sadly, a lot of insurance companies want these things to be confusing because that way you stick with what you got, even though you might be taken advantage of. Shane Ring cuts through all of that. With his ability to shop every single health insurance plan on the marketplace today in Middle Tennessee, he can find the right one for you and your family that's going to solve some of those complex problems and get to the bottom of coverage for you at less money. That's what it's all about with health insurance for you and your family. That's what Shane Ring does. He works for you. He does not work for the insurance companies. He serves you as your personal health care concierge, if you will. Give him a call today at 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or online at covernash.com. This is real health coverage managed by you, not by the government. You can save money and get the same great coverage with Cover Nash. CoverNash.com. Sad day in the world of sports, particularly in motorsports, as we found out about, well, a little less than 24 hours, or a little more, I should say, than 24 hours ago, that we had lost Kyle Busch at the age of 41. I was watching Watkins Glen as Mike Joy, I believe it was, mentioned that Kyle Busch had asked for a doctor after the race to help him out with what he thought was some sort of sinus infection. This was a couple of weeks ago. He mentioned last week at Dover that this was a lingering deal, and he was still feeling the after effects of some of the cough. Now, we have no idea whether or not that was related to what happened to Kyle Busch, but it has obviously rocked the racing world. John Roberts is a good friend of our station, a good friend of the show. He is with Sirius XM, the NASCAR channel, and he is in Charlotte right now as they prepare for the weekend festivities. Truck race tonight, obviously, Coca-Cola 600 on Sunday. But I am certain that Charlotte has taken a very somber tone with the news that we lost Kyle Busch. John, thank you for being on with us today. How are you, sir?
As well as can be expected, Matt, and I love the opportunity to talk to you guys, but I just hate the situation. I hate the reason, and it is a weird situation around here. This was supposed to be a really big day. We all had a ton of stuff we were supposed to do, but just out of respect for the Busch family, Hendrick Motorsports, Roush Fenway, Keselowski, everybody canceled all their fan day stuff today. And so there's a lot of people kind of hanging around. There's a strange, I don't know if Paul's the proper word, but it's a bad feeling around here. Because NASCAR's had tragedies before, and you have to race on because of what goes on throughout the course of the weekend, what's at stake. But it's just really difficult to do. You do it as respectfully as you can, And we've all lost not just one of the greatest race car drivers in the history of the sport, but a friend as well. And I think, Matt, this is what's interesting about NASCAR. Don't want to take anything away from the stick and ball sports, but NASCAR is the only sport where every competitor competes at the same venue every weekend. You got people playing football and baseball all over the country, and there's 2 teams there.
Right.
When NASCAR comes to a town and to a racetrack, it's the whole family. Everybody stays in the infield together. You go to church together Sunday. You go out to eat together after all is said and done at the racetrack. So it's a big traveling circus. It's a big family, and at times like this, families just really have to come together.
Well, it's no doubt about it, and I can only imagine the atmosphere at the track itself, because I mean this is a huge deal at Charlotte. Not just, I mean, every week is a big deal, whatever community they go into, whatever track you go to. But Charlotte is home base. And as you mentioned, John, typically the racing teams, they open up their garages, they have big fan days. It's kind of in the aftermath of the All-Star race from last weekend, it's a hometown celebration where the fans can come out and get to see their favorite drivers and whatnot. And obviously with the news from yesterday, all of that's kind of on hold. Like you say, out of not just respect for the family, of course, first and foremost, respect for the family and for the team, but just generally for the sport itself and for Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. And you hit it right on the head there, Matt. This is the world epicenter of stock car racing. 90% of race teams are located within a 30-mile radius of Charlotte Motor Speedway. So this is the home base, and this is the weekend that the folks that make the race cars, that build the race cars, well, they get to come to the track. They get to see the product of their work, and it's only twice a year here in Charlotte. And the families and the friends of the guys that travel every weekend, the guys and the girls that travel every weekend and are gone, this is a weekend where you sleep in your own bed, you bring your family to the racetrack. So there's a real special feeling about this, and there's no greater show in the world of sports than the patriotism before the Coke 600. Bruton Smith started it years ago. Marcus continues the tradition where they bring in the Black Hawk helicopters and servicemen. They rappel. The Gold Star families are welcome here with open arms. And usually each year a driver will have the name of a fallen hero on their race car. So they won't have their name on the side of the race car, where it usually is. It's taken away by a fallen hero. So this is a show of patriotism. It's just supposed to be such a glorious time and such a happy time, Matt. But I tell you, this is really going to change this weekend. And I was just thinking, my wife was asking me, she goes, well, what do you do now? And I said, we have to race on. And she goes, well, really, can everybody do that? And I remember back to being at the racetrack when Adam Petty died.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Petty died on a Friday, and we held the race on Sunday. Dale Earnhardt died on a Sunday. We raced the next weekend at Rockingham. You have to go on because of what it means to all the other competitors. But boy, there's not anybody there that doesn't race on with the respect to Kyle, because we all know Kyle was what you call a black hat. There were people that loved to hate Kyle. He was a polarizing figure. But dang, Matt, he was talented behind the wheel, and he's got the numbers to back it up.
Well, and you don't become a black hat without being damn good, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I mean, so you can't be that foil. You can't be the he. I said, like, in wrestling, he understood that role and embraced it. His post-race celebration where he would take that over-the-top deep bow, that's him embracing. Not only is he saying, hey, thank you to my personal fans, but he is also embracing his role, understanding how that drew people to the sport, understanding how it grew the sport, in effect.
Yeah, it does, and I think all the sports, they need that black hat, but you're exactly right. You can't be hated in the world of professional sports unless you're really good,
right.
And Kyle had just turned 18, and he was therefore eligible to run in the ARCA race at Daytona. And I remember hearing the buzz around the racetrack that, man, because everybody knew how good Kurt Busch was. Everybody knew how good the big brother was. He'd already won a lot of stuff and really opened eyes. And people said, watch out, man, Kurt Busch has a little brother that could even be better than him. And so it was funny, Matt. It was the welcome to Kyle Busch's world of motor racing. Everybody said from the ARCA garage that day, they said, well, he certainly is a Busch.
Right.
He may be a better driver than his brother, but he's also more difficult to get along with than his brother. Everybody throughout the course of the day tried to kick him out of the ARCA garage because he had made all the officials and all the other drivers angry. But then again, here he is backing it up. So I think, again, if you're going to have that kind of attitude, and a lot of his attitude came, but I will tell you this, there's been a couple of situations where I've been able to, it was years ago when he was with Hendrick Motorsports. We went out to Phoenix to do an event for one of his sponsors. And you would not, we flew out there with him and we're with him forever. Matt, you couldn't have found a nicer guy. And there was also a time when I was out with my boys, they were playing baseball, and so we went out to do a little batting practice, and we stopped for lunch on the way back. And I saw this gal sits down next to us, and I said, dang, I know that girl from somewhere. Where do I know that girl from? And it was the girl that Kyle had dated before he met Samantha and got married to Samantha. Erica was her name. And so then Kyle sits down. I said, oh, that's where, it rang a bell. That's where I knew it as Kyle's girlfriend. And when we started talking, Matt, we sat there with Kyle Busch and Erica for over an hour and talked about anything but racing or television. He was a complete gentleman and nice to my kids, and he has always been great to me. Now, I haven't been around him too much when he has been in the Kyle Busch mode of having something go wrong on the racetrack, but I got to tell you, he's never been anything but polite, kind to me, to my kids, and to my family, and he gets that, when the helmet goes on, there's a different dude there, but off the racetrack, man, that's one hell of a nice guy. And that's why I think today my heart is really hurting.
Well, and the entire motorsports fan world is hurting right now. And I don't believe that. I mean, I was trying to think. I mean, this is as much a shock to motorsports, certainly to NASCAR, I mean, since Earnhardt. Right? I mean, I can't think. I mean, you mentioned Adam Petty, and, of course, Adam was obviously a name and an up-and-comer, but in terms of someone that put their imprint, a clear Hall of Famer in Kyle Busch, we haven't lost someone like this since Dale Sr.
No, he's exactly right, and that was such a shock to the racing world, and what it also did, I said this early with the utmost amount of respect. Well, first of all, when Dale died, whatever NASCAR is, Dale Earnhardt was. He was the gritty, blue-collar guy, but he was so great that he did as much in death for the sport as he did in life. When he died, all of a sudden NASCAR is page one news on all the nightly network newscasts. And so therefore people are kind of opening their eyes. They're saying, okay, I just thought him as, kind of an old Southern guy that drove around in circles. Then when they figured out that this was a guy that dropped out of 8th grade to drive race cars, and when he died, his empire was grossing $120 million a year. He was iconic, and he opened people's eyes. They tuned in, and they said, hey, man, this sport is a hell of a lot more than just guys going around in circles. And I think you're exactly right there, Matt. This is a magnitude. We have lost, tragically, some people that are close to the NASCAR family in different ways. But I tell you what, Matt, there wouldn't have been anything farther from my mind than I saw the news reports that that Kyle had fallen ill and wasn't going to race this weekend. And so that was on my radar. That was going to be a story we'd be looking at. But then my wife called me and she said, Kyle Busch passed away. And I said, no, don't believe that. That's clickbait. He's just sick.
Right.
No, it's not clickbait. It's real. And I just almost fell down because it's a healthy 41-year-old guy that I don't know what happened, Matt. The reports we've heard so far, is it something of the like of a pulmonary embolism or something that made him pass out? I can't fathom, you just don't expect a really, really healthy, vibrant 41-year-old guy who would just want to race in one of NASCAR's top 3 series to just die so quickly like this. So it's a bombshell.
What do you? I mean, is there any way to anticipate? Obviously, NASCAR is going to honor his memory throughout the course of the weekend. The truck race is tonight, right?
Yeah, the truck race is tonight. What's kind of, I don't know, Matt, if it's almost appropriate that the weather forecast here absolutely stinks. It feels like it's going to rain. The wind is blowing and the skies are dark, and there almost might be a little poetic justice if this race got canceled. And I'm sorry for anybody at the track. They would absolutely strangle me for saying that. Because, the idea is to get these races in. But if for some reason we couldn't race tonight, which I hope we do, I think it's important to go back to the competition for everybody to heal. Kyle was supposed to be in this race. It goes on as scheduled, weather permitting. But there will be tributes, and my former colleagues around the TV world here, you can just about bet FS1, the CW, and the Prime Network that these guys are working really hard right now, and they're going to put together some really, really wonderful video tributes to Kyle.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing some of the tributes over the course of the weekend, not just tonight, obviously, with the truck race, but on to the Coca-Cola 600 on Sunday, and we'll be watching. We'll be listening on SiriusXM. You're on later on tonight, right, John?
Yeah, we do 2 hours post-race coverage, usually about a half hour before the race, and then 2 hours post-race where we wrap everything up on the for the big 3 races throughout the course of the weekend. Now, I hope it's okay because Jackson already made the deal with me, Matt, that we're getting together next weekend in Nashville.
Hey, yeah. Oh, amen. We got a date. We're going to be out there. And we're very excited about it, and I'm sure the tributes and all of that will continue into next weekend and throughout the course of the year. I'll leave you with this really quick story, John, and you'll appreciate this. Understanding Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, you mentioned he was a black hat. And, his fan base absolutely adored him, and everyone else absolutely hated him, right? And so I'm at Talladega. I remember this like it was yesterday, and this is a tribute. Y'all trust me. It won't sound like it, but this is a tribute to Kyle Busch. So I'm in the infield on Saturday night. We're camping in the infield Saturday night at Talladega. And you know what the Talladega Boulevard is like on a Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of drinking and a lot of stuff going on. And we're winding it down, and everybody's kind of winding down. It's like I'm telling you, it's 3:00 in the morning, John, and we're getting ready for bed. We got the tents, and we got I'm at my truck, and I hear someone start chanting, "F Kyle Busch," but he's saying it, and John. Like a chorus of like 100 people in the infield of Talladega at 3:00 in the morning started chanting, F Kyle Busch, F Kyle Busch, F Kyle Busch. And at the time it was funny. I wasn't a Kyle Busch fan. I thought he was whatever. And I'm looking at that now, and I was like, what a tribute to how impactful he was at the sport. 3:00 in the morning at Talladega Superspeedway, and that's what they're chanting in the middle of the night.
Hey, in racing, if they're not chanting that, or if they're not booing you, you're not winning.
That's
right. There was a fairly famous story once about Jeff Gordon looking to Earnhardt after getting booed at drivers' intros. Jeff looks at Earnhardt and says, "Man, does that ever get to you, man? That kind of bothers me just getting booed and harangued like that." And Earnhardt looks at Gordon. He said, "The day you got to worry is when they stop booing."
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, best of luck as you broadcast this weekend, John, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, brother. All right, take care. There's John Roberts with SiriusXM, the NASCAR channel 90. I think that's right, channel 90 on SiriusXM. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk.
It is 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a traffic report, a weather forecast, neither of which look all that great. They're coming up nonetheless. Tulsi Gabbard says she's resigning from her position as Director of National Intelligence, citing her husband's cancer diagnosis. ABC Selena Wang tells us Gabbard was not a conventional pick for the role.
She came into the role without any traditional intelligence background that drew a lot of scrutiny from members on Capitol Hill. She also built her national profile as an anti-war Democrat, someone who warned against regime change wars. Then she ended up serving as a Republican in this administration during these escalating conflicts in Iran, in Venezuela. And Gabbard has at times made public comments that appear to put her at odds with the messaging from the president and the White House.
Gabbard's resignation is effective June 30th. Kevin Warsh, do you know that name? Well, you'll be hearing it quite a bit. He was sworn in today at the White House as chairman of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. He succeeds Jerome Powell. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas swore in Mr. Warsh. Here he is, Warsh that is, after the swearing in.
While I'm not naive about the challenges we face, I believe, Mr. President, these years can bring unmatched prosperity that will raise living standards for Americans from all walks of life. And the Fed has something to do with it.
We now turn to the tragedy in North Carolina. Partial audio from the 911 call made for NASCAR star Kyle Busch has been released, painting a very grim picture for the now deceased driver. In the audio, which was first obtained by TMZ, an unidentified man is heard explaining the situation to a dispatcher.
I've got an individual that's shortness of breath, very hot, thinks he's going to pass out, and is producing a little bit of blood, coughing up some blood.
And is he awake?
He is awake. He's awake. He's on the bathroom floor right now.
Busch reportedly collapsed in a race simulator on Wednesday and was transferred to a hospital in Charlotte. The 41-year-old then later died after being in the hospital. Well, it's kind of a good news, bad news situation when we're talking about prices at the pump this holiday weekend. Drivers are definitely paying more as of late. We all know that. But GasBuddy.com's Patrick DeHaan, he's been following the fluctuations and tells us what to expect when we pull up to fill up.
Americans this Memorial Day are going to be shelling out roughly $2 billion more over the 4-day holiday weekend. That's certainly a significant sum. A little bit of last-minute good news. The national average starting to tick a little bit lower. Gas Buddy Live data finding the national average down 3 cents today. That's a trend that will continue. Gas prices will decline through the weekend before potentially jumping again early next week.
That is the latest news. Weather and traffic are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. A number of wrecks still being worked on. First of all, north of the city in Robertson County, a crash blocking the right lane of 65 southbound near exit 112. On the east bank, clearing the wreck, 24 eastbound near Shelby Avenue. 40 eastbound near Church Street, downtown, a crash. 24 eastbound at 440, working to clear that one, and it's got traffic pretty jammed up there. 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane, a wreck, and on the South Loop, we've got a stalled vehicle blocking the left lane. 40 westbound near the 2nd Avenue exit. I'm Jay Harper.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It's a Friday edition, Friday holiday edition. Obviously, it's Memorial Day. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we'll talk to you a little about Memorial Day. I have an annual tradition. We discuss some of my experience at Arlington National Cemetery on Memorial Day, and we'll do so in the 5 o'clock hour. And I'd very much appreciate your experiences, very much appreciate your reflection on Memorial Day. It is a somber holiday. It's odd to say Happy Memorial Day. I try to say have a safe and comfortable Memorial Day because, I mean, obviously you are honoring those who have given the ultimate sacrifice to the United States of America, and we so appreciate all of them who have. 7 minutes after the hour. Now, it is about time for you to line them up with your questions, your queries, your legal. It's an opportunity for you to get free legal advice. And I have a really, really good friend that tells me quite often that free legal advice is worth every penny you pay for it. Ladies and gentlemen, at 8 minutes after 4, it's FriJay.
Good morning, Americans. It's FriJay.
It is time for FriJay, your opportunity to ask legal questions of an expert in the field. He is the finest legal mind that I know. He's my best friend. He's a good Tennessee man. He hails in Birmingham, Alabama. Somebody asked me, I said, where's Jay living? I said, oh, he's in Birmingham, Alabama. And he joins us via Zoom, via Talk TV, and via the radio airwaves every Friday at this time. And I always start with a question. Jay, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. I hear you fine. You sound good.
All right.
Jay, my question is, how you doing?
You know, Matt, if I were any better, I would be free range Mrs. B.
Oh, jeez.
Is she gonna eat any ribs this weekend?
Oh, man, let me tell you something. You know what she's learned, and I love this, and you'll appreciate this because you've got Olivia, and she had now that she's gotten her feet underneath her on the property situation, right?
Yeah.
Well, for a while, when she learned that backyard was hers, as soon as you open the door, she boom bust out.
Oh yeah,
right.
But
now she's funny, and we had nothing to do with this, Jay. But now, if you open the door, she doesn't bust out. She just peeks her head out.
She recons.
She has learned that she has better success if she recons. It's so funny. And she's gotten the squirrels are quicker than Mrs. Beasley, but I don't think they think she's as fast as she is. Right. And I've watched them because they're out there and she starts toward them and they lollygag,
Yeah.
And then they got to speed it up, and she's gotten pretty close. She's gotten pretty close.
It was funny. Olivia's lost a step, and she got smart. But it was so funny the other day. I took her out for a ride. I take her for a ride twice a day. That's her thing. And we pull into the driveway, and there is and we normally don't get any squirrels in the yard because she takes care of that.
Uh-huh.
But there was one right in the middle of the yard. And she saw it as we were driving up to the driveway, and she went full alert inside the truck. And I mean, and I knew what was going to happen. The squirrel, was kind of moseying around. I opened up the door. She shot out of there like she was from a cannon. It was so fun. I'm so happy to see it.
Well, we've got a new development, and I don't know what to do with it. And it involves we've got a raccoon now, and I don't know if the raccoon has taken up residence. Our neighbor, Miss Sheila, took some video of the raccoon early one morning. It was slinking around on the fence line. So, that's one of those that you don't want to get involved in all that because you never know, right?
No, you don't. But I mean, that's just Mother Nature.
That's
There's
right.
nature everywhere. We in my neighborhood, we have coyotes and foxes. And certainly raccoons and lots of possums. You've heard my possum story.
Oh yeah.
So that's just part of it. And they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you that one development that I've learned that it happened pretty quickly. When we first moved there, before the dogs came back from the in-laws, there was a lot of cat crossing activity, right?
Yeah, that's gone.
That is over. The cats have learned where to go and where not to go with regard to the dogs. So that's good news.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if the feral cat problem, but I'm sure that's probably cats are pretty smart and they don't want to mess with dogs.
Yeah, they don't want.
I swear the squirrels mess with them on purpose.
Oh, Jay.
No doubt.
There is no question that the squirrels do it on purpose because well, I'll say this. I might be anthropomorphizing a little bit much, but if they get up in that tree and they look at them and they flick that tail and they're like, you can't climb trees, can you?
Well, I mean, look at it this way, man. If they don't have the internet, they don't have TV, I don't think they can read. So there's not a lot of sport in their life.
I guess so.
And not a lot of entertainment. And so, that's entertainment. It's like going to the amusement park.
I guess so. Well, Jay, obviously we've got calls coming in already, and we want to get to legal questions, 615-737-9986. But everybody knows how much you and I love motorsports and love NASCAR. And I had John Roberts, who's a friend of mine that I've met in Nashville, who works for SiriusXM on the NASCAR channel, and he's in Charlotte. And we had him on last hour, and we were talking about, how they're going to remember Kyle. And I told this story, and I don't know that I've ever told you this story, but this epitomizes Kyle Busch because, he was not afraid he wanted to win. He was a winner, and he was not afraid to upset people in doing it. Yeah. And he wore the black hat proudly.
Absolutely.
And I remember being at Talladega, and that was Earnhardt Jr. country. When I was there, when we spent when Kerry Adams, our mutual friend, spent the night.
I forgot about that.
At Talladega Superspeedway in the infield and experienced a Saturday night on Talladega Boulevard. And I say it this way, Jay, what I remember was fun.
Yeah.
And I don't remember a lot, but it was fun. But I remember this. I remember two things about that night more than anything. One was about 4 o'clock in the morning, a lady looking for her dog, and her dog was named Ginger. And everybody's trying to sleep it off. We've all we've petered out at 4 in the morning. And you hear this lady somewhere, you go, Ginger, Ginger, Ginger. And after a little bit of that, you hear some good old boy scream, would somebody either find or kill that dog? That's one. But before that, about an hour before, as things were still kind of winding down, for no reason whatsoever, at 3 o'clock in the morning, there was a one person started chanting, F. Kyle Busch, F. Kyle Busch, and he was saying it, And everybody started chanting it.
Yeah.
At 3 o'clock, and I thought that shows that you've made your mark on the sport, boy.
Well, that's right, and it's kind of like wrestling. I don't really follow professional wrestling, but I did when I was a kid. And you got heroes and you got villains.
That's right.
If you don't have villains, you don't have a show.
That's right.
And he was part of the show, and he loved playing the villain. He's very good at it. The bow. I saw somebody put on Twitter that whoever wins the race Sunday's got to come out, burn tires down, get out of the car, and bow.
That's exactly right.
Isn't that clever?
No question. Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
And did you see the Indianapolis race on the 18th lap? His car number. They're going to post him up on the pylon.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah.
Well, and Richard Childress announced a little while ago.
Oh
today
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
This is great, and it's so classy to say we are holding it in reserve for Brexton.
Yeah, it gives you the chills, doesn't it? And it does me.
Right.
It
gives me chills right now.
Yeah, just so for those that don't know, he was the number 8 car for Richard Childress Racing, and they're removing that number from the car and just kind of parking it because the owners own the numbers, and on their post about it, they said that they're holding it for Brexton, and that's Kyle Busch's son. That's very sweet. Very sweet. Well, I mean, and this is the biggest shock to NASCAR since Senior, I think.
Yeah, well, since then is the first time an active driver has died.
Yeah, that's
it's Greg Biffle, but he was retired.
Right.
And, but this is different. This is more like Davey Allison. I was reading this because it wasn't on track.
Right.
And but yeah, and just so young and just so sudden, we really don't yet know. I saw a few little details, maybe some kind of respiratory thing, but it's just tragic. But it's like you said, and I've talked privately about it, man. We are not promised anything.
We're not.
We're not promised anything, and so that means you and I have got to get the very most out of every day that we have.
And we need to start in Tunica, Mississippi, as soon as humanly possible.
You read my mind.
That's exactly right. All right, let's get some questions in on FriJay. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 615-737-9986. Bonnie is going to be first up, and I think we can get Bonnie in here before the break. Hey, Bonnie, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Bonnie? You doing all right?
Doing good. I heard you talking about your dogs, I believe, and you said they were lollygagging.
Yes, ma'am. The squirrels were lollygagging on the dogs a little bit. Yes.
Squirrel. And I've got a little sticker on the back of my car that says lollygagging. I got it from Ace Hardware up in Tullahoma.
Uh-huh.
So anyways, I thought that was cute.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be Bonnie. I learned this from the movie Bull Durham.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, Jay knows what. Jay, what don't you want to be?
No, well, they lollygagged at first base. They lollygagged at the outfield. They lollygagged at the dugout. What does that make them, Matt?
Lollygaggers. Lollygaggers. What's on your mind, Bonnie? You got a question?
Yes. It's kind of an odd question, but since he's a lawyer, I wanted to ask him a question, and he probably can't answer it.
Well, hey, Bonnie, I'm an odd lawyer, so that's probably a good question to ask me.
Well, this friend of mine, I know people out there listening, and some people I know that hear me on the radio, and I want to say hi to Vicki and Kevin. They own the grocery store down in Watertown, 3 Forks. I just want to say hello if you're listening.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. How's it going?
But this friend of mine from years and years and years ago got kind of close to me. He is from Guatemala, and he served in the Vietnam War. And he would be about 81 years old now, and I haven't heard from him maybe in 5 years. And he all at once told me, it's maybe 2019 or 20, that he said he had throat cancer, and he said if something ever happens to me, you're on my will. And, I'm thinking, oh, wow. Nobody's ever left me on their will. And I said, nah. He said, I've got your Social Security number, and really nice man, a very good person.
Right.
And so anyways, I haven't heard from him. And if someone's leaving you on their will and you don't have any contact with them, how do you know that?
Here's the way that works, Bonnie. If you are in his will, and if he has passed, and they probated the will, those are 3 F's, then there will be an executor who is responsible for seeing that his last wishes are honored. And if you're listed there as a beneficiary, they are obligated by law to track you down. And in the 21st century, Bonnie, it's pretty easy to track people down.
Yeah, but do they have to? Do they have to?
Yes, they have to by law. Yeah, they have to by law, Bonnie. It's in the will, and the
Well,
executives
he mentioned something about going back to Guatemala, that he had a house there, and so I don't know. I don't know if they took his voice box out. I don't know if he can talk.
Yep. Well, if you want some peace of mind about that, Bonnie, I can tell you how to do that. It will cost you some money, but you can hire a private detective to find out where this guy is. I have one on retainer that I use all the time, and you would be amazed at what they can find.
Wow.
So for a
few bucks,
a few $100. Just look on the internet and don't these things that say they'll find people on the internet. Don't do that.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather do it to someone that I know.
That's right. You got to find a real person. And if you can't find somebody, then you get in touch with me, and I'll give you some recommendations up there. But if you want
your
peace of mind, I'm sorry.
Where's your office at?
Where I'm in Birmingham, but my name is Jay St. Clair, ST.CLAIR. And if you Google that, you'll find me.
Yeah, he's on the front page if you Google it, Bonnie, and he can put you. I mean, for the right money, I bet that that private investigator will come up here and figure it out.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Did you say Birmingham?
He did.
Birmingham,
yes,
and it's not Birmingham, England, Bonnie. It's Birmingham, Alabama.
All right, Bonnie.
Hey, and you talking about Birmingham, England. One time I was dating this guy down in Florida, and I know he was sneaky snake. He was from England, and he was giving me a false name, and I got a investigator, and he ran his tag and all that. Oh, he thought he was hot stuff driving a Jaguar.
Oh, yeah.
I found
out. Well, Bonnie, you've already hired you know how to do it. Private investigator.
You know how to
That's
get
absolute. Then what? Go out there and get Magnum PI and track this guy down.
There you go.
See if you do some money.
Hey, Bonnie, I'm being accused of lollygagging to the break, so I've got to go. Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye.
All right. Take care. I appreciate you. Oh, Bonnie got off. Go real quick. Thank you, Bonnie, for the telephone call, and thank you for the comments. More calls coming up. 22 after the hour. 615-737-9986. If you got a question for Jay St. Clair, it's FriJay on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. 3 separate locations. And I mention this because particularly those of you north of the city, you're concerned about, well, I got to drive that highway, got to get through the city, got to get to, the Midtown area where the original Tennessee Men's Clinic has been located since 2014. Oh, I got to get to Cool Springs. Nope, you don't, because Clarksville is now open and available for those of you a little bit north. And they provide the same quality service that you find at any Tennessee Men's Clinic location. And here's the deal. It is about intimacy. It is about romantic relationships. It is about, I'll put it this way, ability to perform. But it's about more than just that. It's about energy levels. It's about getting the most out of your life for the length of time that you want to get the most out of your life. And that's why you need to get to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They provide quality urologists at a reasonable price. As a matter of fact, $99. That is your first cost. That is your initial appointment consultation. They'll do blood work, and they'll figure out what's going on in your body and how to fix it. And that is what it's all about, friends. The Tennessee Men's Clinic at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Here's the number for any of those locations. 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for the Tennessee Men's Clinic.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, a decision in a high-profile human smuggling case by a Nashville-based judge. Also, gas prices on holiday travelers' minds, and shock still reverberating throughout the world of motorsports. We'll have those stories coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, FriJay in progress. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Load them up if you want to ask a fine legal mind a question. You may do so. 615-737-9986. No waiting right now on the telephone lines. I'm having this online X machine debate with someone regarding the Super Bowl, and I don't know what to tell you except. I'll leave it for another time. I'm having this debate, Jay, with somebody that's like, well, the Super Bowl's not going to do anything for the locals in Nashville. And I was like, well, if people bring money into town, they're going to spend money, and that money kind of gets into the pocket of the local community, and then it kind of filters through. It might be a pain in the butt while they're here, but I don't know.
What does he want them to do? Give them money?
Well, I mean, no, this fellow's like, well, the Super Bowl's not benefiting the economy.
Well, what does he want them to do?
I guess not come to Nashville, the Super Bowl, I guess.
Well, that's giving up a lot of money.
That's what I thought, too. I didn't realize that this was controversial. I mean, I understand that people don't like the hassle of a bunch of people coming to town. But
I wonder how much it costs Talladega to have the Talladega race there.
I don't know. But I tell you, I know how much they benefit.
Yeah, it doesn't cost
yeah, as well.
It may be a little bit.
That's your point.
It may be a little bit inconvenient.
Right.
But no, there are a lot of businesses that are going to make a lot of money.
I would think so. All right. Let me see. Question for Jay. Would universal voter ID be constitutional, and what do you think the Supreme Court would have to say about it?
You know, I need to look at that. I'm embarrassed that I can't give you that, because I think the way the Constitution reads on that is the states certainly have a role, Matt, in deciding who's eligible to vote or not. I mean, there's some regulations in the Constitution, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll look at that over the break, and we can talk about it when we come back.
Well, it's perfect timing because we've got news to do with Jay Harper in the newsroom, and we'll be back in a moment. Vicky, you'll be first up on the phones. I've got a number of questions on the super text line, 615-737-9986. It's FriJay.
It's 4:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a traffic report, and a weather forecast. They're coming up. A human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, whose mistaken deportation helped galvanize opposition to President Trump's immigration policies. It was thrown out of court today. Abrego Garcia's deportation to El Salvador last year became somewhat of an embarrassment for the Trump administration when they were ordered to send him back to the U.S. He claimed that both the timing of the criminal charges and inflammatory statements about him by Trump officials demonstrated that the prosecution was vindictive. U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw, ruling from here in Nashville, granted Abrego Garcia's motion to dismiss for what is called, quote, selective or vindictive prosecution. Some good news and some bad news for gas prices. We're seeing the price come down a little bit, just a few cents. It'll stay low until trading opens again on Tuesday. But on top of that, some states are holding a tax holiday on the gas tax. Now drivers are trying to make the most out of a tank of gas for their road trips this holiday. GasBuddy.com's head of petroleum analysis, he has some helpful hints.
The most important thing, how you drive, your driving habits, leaving a little earlier, setting that cruise control, maybe setting it for 5 below the limit will drastically improve the amount of miles you get out of that tank of gasoline. The other thing, shopping around, being aware of the prices around you. Gas prices volatile and have been for several weeks. Apps like GasBuddy, Google Maps, and Waze can show you those lower prices in real time.
NASCAR fans still in shock over the tragic death of Kyle Busch. The 41-year-old dying suddenly after his family said he was hospitalized and undergoing treatment for a severe illness. The Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway begins today. Busch was set to race in it before he fell ill. ABC's Alex Stone tells us how Busch is being remembered.
At the Coca-Cola 600, the cars have stickers honoring Busch. Many of them will over the weekend. The Indy 500, they're going to be honoring him. He won the Brickyard 400 in 2015 and 2016, but there are going to be remembrances on and off the track over the weekend. It's going to be quite visible. This is a big deal in the world of NASCAR. As one NASCAR racer said today, this was their Kobe Bryant who died, that he was a giant figure.
That is the latest news. Weather and traffic are coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We are still dealing with a number of wrecks around the city. 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane, a crash. The right lane blocked north of town. 65 southbound near the exit 112. There's a crash up there. 24 eastbound after the Shelby Avenue exit on the East Bank, working that wreck. And near the Capitol, 40 eastbound near the Church Street exit here downtown. We've got a crash, and also the right lane blocked near the airport. A crash reported 40 westbound near the Briley Parkway exit. I'm Jay Harper.
Sunday, the days are not washouts, but there is more rain coming from Memorial Day on Monday.
The last thing you want is someone in the room with you overriding the decisions made between you and your doctor, right? I mean, it's as simple as this. You should have a sacrosanct relationship with your doctor, and you do at Grace Point Healthcare. They don't allow the insurance company to get in the way of treatment options available to them at Grace Point, which is why they remain a direct pay primary care facility, meaning that you pay your doctor, and then you can file with your insurance company for reimbursement. You also have an option of a Smart Care plan, which I would strongly encourage you to investigate. The Smart Care plan is simple. You pay one flat fee per month, and you have unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year. But don't worry, that money comes out of your HSA account thanks to the big, beautiful bill, meaning that it doesn't come directly out of your pocket. It comes through your health savings. What about that? It's all about convenience, customer convenience. They don't make you wait long in the waiting rooms. They don't make you wait long to schedule an appointment. They never will. At Grace Point Healthcare, it's modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. 599-6868, 599-6868 for Grace Point Healthcare. 38 minutes after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, cruising through what is a holiday weekend Friday on Super Talk 99.7. Thank you for being with us on the Matt Murphy Show, and we're also in the midst of FriJay. The big takeaway, if you're just joining us, just getting in your automobile, I'm sorry that you missed the first portion of FriJay. It was a good portion. The big takeaway was that Jay St. Clair has a private investigator buddy on retainer. That's pretty big news. I never knew. Jay, see, I thought I'd get a laugh. Just say, I know Jay's not turned up because I thought I'd get a laugh out of that. No? See, Jackson, what are you doing over there? Yeah? There he is. I hear him now.
No, you know me better than that, man. My private investigator buddy is named Debbie. And you want a female private investigator.
Oh, okay.
For a couple of reasons.
Okay.
One is they're really good at getting information out of guys.
I bet, yeah.
And two, they're really sneaky. I've been doing business with Debbie 25 years.
That's awesome.
And I
awesome.
don't want her to have my home number. I don't want her to know anything about me.
Oh, I don't blame you.
But she's got it all.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet she knows it all.
What she can find out.
By the way, I want to correct something before I forget about it, and we'll go to Miss Vicky on the telephone lines. And Jay, you probably knew this, but were kind enough not to correct me in the midst of it because it's a little bit of a technicality, but I need to correct myself. The team owners don't own the numbers. NASCAR owns the numbers.
Right.
The teams lease the numbers, but it's leased to the ownership. So my intent was to impart that if a driver moves from one team to another, he has to change numbers because the team owners.
Well,
unless they buy it.
Yeah.
I guess.
See, I mean, that's what SVG got. They had to ask Dale Earnhardt Jr. for permission to get 88.
And I think
they may have done that more out of respect for him.
And I think Hendrick Chase really wanted to drive the number 9 car.
That's right. And so they had to go through that.
Yeah. So
yep.
But I stand corrected, and thank you to the alert super texter that corrected me on that front. Ms. Vicky is next up on FriJay. Hey, Vicky, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm going to tell Jay that my mother loves Perry Mason, so I see Perry Mason reruns on a regular basis.
Oh,
I watch about two of them every night, Vicky, and I'm just falling in love with it all over again. And that Della Street she's cute.
What's on your mind, Vicky? You got a question?
Well, I want to about of a handwritten will that was not notarized but was witnessed by two of my stepfather's friends in 1976, shortly after he married my mother. He was working at the National Guard, and the lawyer called me and wanted to know if either one of them was still alive.
Right.
One of the signatures is in blue.
Well, I happen to have this right in front of me because I thought this question might come up. Holographic wills, that is, wills that are handwritten, are valid if written entirely in the giver's handwriting and signed. So the person whose will it is had to write it entirely and it has to be signed with handwriting verified by two witnesses. So, yeah, there has to be two live witnesses who can verify that it is his handwriting.
So
doesn't have to be the people. It doesn't have to be the witnesses to the will. It sounds like he had some witnesses to the will. You just need two people who can verify that this is this person's handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got to have some basis for claiming that. They can't just say it. But certainly, if the two people who witnessed the will, if they're still alive, they'd be the best people. But for example,
they're still alive because he was 99 when he died 5 years ago.
Is this your father?
My stepfather.
Wow.
Your stepfather. Well, do you recognize his handwriting?
Oh, yes, he had beautiful handwriting.
Yeah, well, you could verify his handwriting. It doesn't have to be these two people. It's just two people who have a real knowledge of his handwriting, and you put your hand on the Bible, swear to tell the truth, and then look the judge in the eye and say, ma'am, this is my stepfather's handwriting. I have no doubt about it.
Well, and there's probably other documents and my mother's father. It's our his handwriting.
Right.
He had beautiful handwriting.
Well, that's a long start, Vicky.
Well, I mean, that's a wonderful life well lived at 99 years of age. I mean, it's sad to lose loved ones, but that's a wonderful life at 99, Vicky.
Yeah, he was the glue that held our family together. And because it's Memorial Day and you've been talking about veterans, I want to speak of his service in the Korean conflict, World War II, and he retired from the Tennessee National Guard.
Wow.
He was in the Marines and the Army.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you said that, Ms. Vicky. Thank you. And
Thank you.
I hope you get some satisfaction out
Hey,
of that.
Vicky,
I hung up, Jay. I'm
well,
sorry.
I'm going to ask you,
Okay.
is Jackson listening?
Jackson's back
Yes,
there.
sir.
What do you think the chances are, Jackson, that will is written in cursive?
I would say pretty high, sir.
I would say 100%.
I would too. I mean, that's a lot. Let me tell you, I don't. Do you write in cursive, Jay?
No, I don't. Actually, I do kind of a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
I do that kind of naturally, that I'll be writing along, and some of it I just use block letters, and then I occasionally put cursive. I always sign my name in cursive.
Right. That's the only thing I can do in cursive. I tried a couple of years ago. And for those of y'all that learned cursive in like school and haven't done it, like I'm a block letter guy. Get you a pen, or pencil, a piece of paper, and try to write a sentence in cursive, and it looks like a 5-year-old's doing.
Oh no, I do. Yeah, Matt. And if we don't have any callers holding, Matt, I did look at this universal voter thing, and I was correct about that.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. The Constitution gives both states and federal government a realm of responsibility in deciding qualification of voters. And so exactly where that line falls would be interesting. So, I mean, for example, if you're looking for House and Senate elections, the voters in each state shall have the qualifications required for voters of the most numerous branch of the state legislature.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, that gives the state some role in deciding who are eligible voters. And then kind of the same thing for the president. But then it also says that the Congress can change the time, place, and manner of the elections. So there is an area of responsibility or authority for the states, and there is for the federal government. I hadn't really looked at the SAVE Act, where there's where it would require proof of citizenship, I guess, or at least certainly ID. So that that's a real technical question, Matt. And to answer the texter's question, would such a law be constitutional? Well, what's in the law?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
It gets that specific. There are some things, there's no question that there are some things the federal government can set a universal rule nationwide for voting, but they can't. I think there's some stuff they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question would be, what are they doing? What's universal and what are they leaving in the states?
Stephen is next up with FriJay. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing good.
I could compare and contrast the relationship with you and Jackson versus Canned and Mason, but that take a 30-minute conversation. Anyway, I didn't call about that.
Mm-hmm.
I called about my older sister and my younger sister and my younger brother, as of a couple of days ago, are going to get a living will from my father. He's going to sell the house to my older sister, but he's going to stay there, and she's going to live with him with her husband and take care of him. And I know my little sister and my big sister don't get along, and she's going to try to fight her over the house, which I won't go into all the detail of that. But is there any advice I could give my bigger sister so that, to make that easier for my father and the whole situation?
No, not really, Stephen. Here's the law. Children are not entitled by law to take. The only person by law that's entitled to take under an estate is a spouse. And in Tennessee, the percentage that they're entitled to take grows the longer the marriage. So a parent can leave any or all of his children out of his will. That's just the law. And so if you're... I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say, he called me and said he's just going to sell the house to them and then split the remaining 3 parts with the siblings, which, I'm like, that's fine. So my sister will be there to take care of him. I don't see any problem. But my younger sister wants the house, so she's already told me she's going to fight her.
Well, she's going to lose. So he's
well, my older sister's the executor of the will.
Can I ask a question? Is he of sound mind? Is your dad pretty lucid and all that?
He's Joe Biden age. He's 82, and he Joe Biden shuffles. I love my father, but he's got a little older now, and it's a good thing she's going to be there. But yeah, he's older.
Okay.
And he doesn't have dementia, but he's just physically deteriorating. Honestly.
Yeah, well, he can do whatever he wants to. It's his property. He can give it to me if he wants to, or he can split it evenly between the 4 of y'all. So,
yeah, I just figured, it's a good situation. I didn't expect it.
Did your younger Stephen? I'm just out of curiosity. I'm not trying to get in your business, but did your younger sister tell you what she plan? I mean, what's her plan of action here? If this is something your dad wants to do, what's she planning?
Oh, I haven't talked to her. We ain't talking right now, and she's doing it, I think, to rub my older sister the wrong way because they've been into it for the last 8 years since they both moved to the same town with my mom and dad. Well, my mom's passed, but they don't get along now.
Yeah, well, that's a shame. I'm sorry to hear it.
That's too bad.
It is.
My advice, my advice to your older sister is I just would ignore it. Because the younger sister doesn't really have any claim. I just don't pick a fight about it. Just let it go. Just say, okay, well, whatever you say. There's no reason to argue about it. What's the expression, Matt? Don't argue with pigs. You only get dirty. No, don't wrestle with pigs. You only get dirty, and the pigs like it. So the best thing there is just to avoid the topic.
And
I'll text my little sister that. Yeah.
Well, and if it ever does come up, Stephen, my thing would be to you tell her that you talked to one of the finest lawyers in the southeast of the United States of America, and he has informed you on good authority that she's going to lose.
And I'll play the Mason music in the background.
There you go.
I love it.
There you go. That's what you do. Thank you, Stephen.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. Quick timeout, and we'll wrap FriJay up in just a moment with a number of your questions from the Super Text line on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for King & Associates Insurance. You might not think about your insurance quite as much as you should, and I understand it's one of those things. What are you talking about, Murphy? Thinking about insurance, that's a bore. But what if I told you could save a lot of money? I did. I thought we were in a great position on automobile insurance. I just did. Well, when we got our homeowners insurance through King & Associates Insurance, Emery said, man, Matt, you need to let me look at that auto. And I was like, well, Emery, you can look, but I don't think you're going to get us a better deal. Well, lo and behold, we got the same great coverage that we've always enjoyed, and we got it for almost $400 less a year. And that's on auto alone. We also got great rates on homeowners. That's what it's all about, folks. Saving money and getting the same fine coverage. And with King & Associates, you can be confident because they're local and independent. That means they work for you. They don't work for any particular insurance company. They have no incentive to push you toward this insurance company or that insurance company. They have an incentive to save you money and make you happy. And that's what they do on the regular. Give them a call at 615-329-8121. 329-8121 or online at that's the letter T, kinginsurance.com. kinginsurance.com. King & Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about European automobile repair. European automobile repair doesn't feel like European automobile repair at Eurofix, because Eurofix does it the right way. They're not your typical greasy garage friends. They're clean, comfortable. Service areas are spotless. Just go and look. Eurofix cares about every aspect of how you're treated, how your vehicle's treated. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the repairs they perform, and at below dealer pricing. You don't have to put up with dealer prices. You don't have to get ghosted when you're waiting on a callback. Eurofix fixes everything European, plus a rental car available at every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. The spirit of Aaron Stokes lives on through Eurofix. Call them today at 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or go online to myEurofix.com. Once again, myEurofix.com.
Coming up at the top of the hour, well, first of all, let me pass along for those that have friends and loved ones in Cumberland and Putnam counties, a tornado warning in effect there near the communities of Monterey and Mayland in particular. But coming up at the top, we'll have a story on the new Fed chairman who was sworn in today. We'll have that and more. That's all coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
By the way, real quick, before we get to James, James got a question for Jay St. Clair. We got about 3 minutes left. You know, Wally with Wally's Bean Machine is here, and I thanked Wally for keeping us in the coffee, you know. The Raccoon Espresso and the Freedom Vanilla that he provides with the Bean Machine. But I was remiss the last time we brought up Wally. I didn't mention, you know who the straw that stirs the coffee is, Jackson?
I believe I do, but you go ahead and tell it.
That's Miss Nancy. Ms. Nancy, who is she's the head honcho over there at Wally's Bead Machine is what she is. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. So thanks to Nancy, thanks to Wally, and y'all have a great Memorial Day, friend. I hope you're able to get out on the boat, although it's going to rain, I think. James is next. James, we got about 2 minutes, but I'm going to give it to you, brother. You're on with Jay St. Clair. What's up?
All right, just a quick question on the validation of a will. I'm calling for a friend. Her father was diagnosed with cancer in the short term. Anyway, he made a second will 3 days before he passed under hospice care, blah, 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 with his mistress. We realize that, or she does, that it could possibly be undone. But
Right.
the problem is he tore his previous will. It's torn, but the lawyer held on to the will.
Right.
And when they've talked to him, he's like, well, if you get this one thrown out, we'll just have to bring this other one back. Being it's torn, is it legit?
Yeah, and no, absolutely. Don't worry about that. The lawyer still has a complete copy of it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
It's
and the
torn,
lawyer can
but he has-
testify. Yeah, but the lawyer can testify that it is a true and correct copy of the original. I mean, the law wants the original document, but if the original is no longer existing, James, then if somebody has a copy and they put the hand on the Bible and swear that it is an exact copy of the original, then the court will accept that.
But although he has torn it, and he made a new one.
Yeah, but what you first got to get that second will invalidated. It doesn't. The first one doesn't come into play. You got to say there was undue influence or that he was not of sound mind. So yeah, the first step in the process is to say that second will is no good. And if that's not invalidated, then that's his will.
Yeah.
Right.
But if it is invalidated, then it goes back to the first will.
Okay, thank you, sir.
James, thank you so much. Jay, thank you so much. I love you, brother. You know I do. And, in the spirit of what has gone down over the last 24, 36 hours, I'm just compelled to tell you that. So.
No, I love you too, man. We got to get together.
Yeah, we do. We will. We will. All right. Have a great weekend. Have a good Memorial Day. Be safe.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, bub. There is a tornado warning as of 4:50 p.m. in the Cookeville area. I'm going to give you details moments from now. Located near Monterey or 13 miles northeast of Sparta, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. It is a radar-indicated rotation, so no word on anything on the ground. I will continue to update you on that. Coming up in just a few moments, it's time for the news.
It is 1 minute past 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. As Matt just alluded to, and I had mentioned it earlier, there is a tornado warning, not only Cumberland County, but also Putnam County. They're near Cookeville. Also the area around Livingston, Tennessee, which is there in Overton County. But nonetheless, those areas certainly dealing with some severe weather. We'll update you on that as we receive the info. We'll also get you a traffic report. Kevin Warsh, the new Federal Reserve Chair, coming in after the 73-year-old Jerome leaves his post. Jerome Powell and President Trump went toe-to-toe a number of times on interest rates as he refused to lower them at Trump's demand. Now the 56-year-old bank executive, Warsh, he's got 5 years' experience serving on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. He'll be in charge of guiding the nation's economy. Here's ABC's Selena Wang.
Warsh steps into this position at a time where there's actually pressure for the Fed to raise rates because of acceleration in inflation because of the war in Iran and these rising energy prices. Now, President Trump claimed in his swearing in that he wants Warsh to be independent, but he has also recently said that he would be disappointed if Warsh did not immediately move to cut rates. I asked Powell during his last press conference what he thinks about Warsh's ability to stand up to this pressure, and he said he'll take Warsh's word at it.
Though Powell leaves his post as the chair, he has decided to stay on. He'll be serving on the Board of Governors. Back here in Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee has signed a bill that advocacy groups say puts patients over profits here in Tennessee. Today, Lee signed the Freedom, Access, and Integrity in Registered Pharmacy Act, also known as the Fair Prescription Act. The law prevents pharmacy benefit managers from owning pharmacies in the state. The legislation saw heavy opposition from pharmacy giant CVS Health, who said passage of the bill would impact their business operations in Tennessee. The company also warned that the bill's passage would force pharmacy closures across the state. Proponents of the bill, though, say it eliminates substantial conflicts of interest in the pharmacy market, like that of CVS Health, which owns both pharmacy benefit manager entities and pharmacies. The Tennessee Pharmacists Association, they applauded the legislation and thanked the governor for signing the bill, calling it a landmark law to promote quality patient care and choice while also protecting community pharmacies. That's the latest news. We've got weather on the way as well as traffic. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Still trying to clear this crash. 24 eastbound at I-440. That's been there a while. 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane. A wreck reported there. The right lane still blocked up north of the city. 65 southbound near exit 112. And an injury wreck now in the Tusculum area of town. McMurray Drive at Nolensville Pike. I'm Jay Harper.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Jay Harper's back in News Closet B. Just finished a fresh batch of headlines. He's gathering more. He'll deliver those at 5:30 or when it breaks. Jackson Williams is behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. I am your not-so-humble correspondent from 3 until 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Memorial Day is on the way. We will talk Memorial Day coming up in just a few seconds on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There is a tornado warning which is expiring in about 7 minutes in the Cookeville area in northwestern Cumberland and southeastern Putnam counties. The storm, which prompted the warning, has weakened below severe limits. No longer, so that's good. So there was a pop-up that happened that produced a radar-indicated tornado warning. There was circulation that popped off a tornado warning. But now the indication is that the system that created the warning has just it's died off to the point where it is no longer at severe limits. They set these things in 15-minute blocks, so it technically doesn't expire until 5:15, but there is no longer a threat, we are being told, in that area. So that's good news. There are rain showers all throughout, the state. I mean, Nashville's not getting popped right now, but there's some coming back toward, what is that? Camden, Savannah, Tennessee, coming toward Decaturville, and Waverly's about to get hit. There's just a little line of pop-ups that is on the way. Moving from, generally speaking, southwest to northeast of this system that is producing a lot of rain. And it's just going to be periodic throughout the day today, periodic throughout the day tomorrow, periodic throughout the day on Sunday, and, yes, even into Monday, which, we were talking to Wally about his plans for the weekend. I said, what are you and Nancy doing? He said, well, maybe I'm just, we'd like to get out on the lake on the boat, but, it is what it is. So I hope that you have plans to spend time with family and friends. If you have any loved ones that have served in the military, thank them for their service to the military. I mean, obviously, Veterans Day is a day where we thank all of our veterans that have served. Memorial Day is a day that we thank those who have sacrificed, and I've made it an annual tradition. I've never written this down. I just kind of do it from memory when we talk about Memorial Day, but it has always been something that I have been compelled to talk about, and it's always a story that I've been compelled to tell on Memorial Day, and I call the story The Waiting Lady. I don't know if you've ever been to Arlington National Cemetery. It is an incredible place. And in order to tell you the story of the Waiting Lady, I have to tell you a little bit of the background story as to how I found myself there in successive years for a number of years. My wife's grandfather was Lieutenant Colonel George Holy. Lieutenant Colonel Holy served 2 years in the United States Navy, and he left the Navy only to join the Air Force when the Air Force was formed, I want to say in 1947. I believe that's right. And Colonel Holy eventually served 31 years in the United States military, and I had the honor of knowing him in the latter years of his life. He died in 2008, and it was his desire to be interred in the columbarium in Arlington National Cemetery. For those who've never been, obviously the more famous shots involve the rows and rows of graves at Arlington National Cemetery. What you might not have seen are the columbariums where those that wish to be cremated can still be interred in the cemetery itself. George was in 2008, and Erica and I took a trip. It was my first chance to see Arlington with Natalie Holy, the wife of George. Natalie was blind at the time, or virtually blind, but she wanted to, quote unquote, see where George was laid to rest and where she would eventually be laid to rest. And 3 years later, that came to fruition. That happened. You're not allowed to drive on the property at Arlington National Cemetery unless you have a grieving widow with you that wishes to see a gravesite, or if you are a part of an active funeral service. But we had received special dispensation to bring Natalie to the columbarium where George was laid to rest. And I pulled up on that day, and I dropped Natalie and Erica off, and then I had to park some ways away, and I made my way through the columbarium, and I turned a corner, and I happened upon a funeral service, which are obviously happening with a fair degree of regularity at Arlington National. This is 2009, I want to say. And it was a memory that I will take with me until I die, listening to the 21-gun salute, 7 guns and 3 volleys, and listening to the bugle play taps as I waited, obviously out of respect, before traveling on to where Natalie and Erica were at the columbarium beside Colonel Holding. After Natalie passed away in 2011, I was going to Washington, D.C. annually for a trip that I took, a work junket that I took up there. And Natalie was laid to rest beside George, and obviously they change out the plate on the columbarium where the cremated ashes are to reflect the fact that Natalie is there too. And Erica was not traveling with me, but she asked me to go to Arlington and visit the gravesite, visit the columbarium, and take a few photos of the new marble stone that is in front of their final resting. And so I took the train to the Arlington, the Metro, to the Arlington stop. And Arlington National Cemetery is an incredible place. It is immense in its size, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And I don't say that with any irony. It is a beautiful place. The hills are rolling. It's incredibly manicured. The trees are stately. There's Robert E. Lee's mansion sitting on top of the hill. And if you have the ability to not see the graves, you're reminded of how gorgeous the topography is, how gorgeous the landscape is. But it is impossible not to see the sacrifice. It's impossible not to see the graves. They're everywhere, everywhere you look. I remember one of the first times we visited there, we went to see the final resting of John F. Kennedy. President Kennedy is interred in Arlington, to see the eternal flame. And there was a school trip that was there, and the kids were getting off of the trolley, and they were laughing and playing, and I couldn't help but be amazed at the juxtaposition of the beauty of the youth and the sacrifice that was all around them that guaranteed them the enjoyment of the freedoms that they were going to have for the rest of their lives. And so on this day, I knew that I had a pretty fair walk to make, and so I got off the train or the metro and walked through the big stately gates of Arlington and took a left toward where I knew the columbariums were, and I began the trek. And you have to go through block after block after block of graves in order to get there. And as I'm walking, I can see in the distance the roads, which are gridded off like city blocks. But instead of buildings, on these city blocks are row after row after row after row of graves of those who sacrificed, who either sacrificed in service and then lived a full life only to be buried at Arlington, or those who were taken too soon. And I noticed way in the distance as I was walking, in the middle of one of these blocks of row after row after row of white cross graves, there was a woman, a lady. She had laid out a blanket, and there was a basket beside the blanket. And I can only imagine that she had some water or perhaps some food inside of the basket. And she was sitting cross-legged in front of a grave. As I got closer, I put her age somewhere in the neighborhood of late 20s to early 30s. And it was pretty obvious to me exactly who she was sitting there for. I went on about my business and went and walked to the columbarium and spent a little time at the columbarium and took a few photos to memorialize Natalie being placed with her beloved husband, George. And I probably spent, I don't know, the better part of an hour and a half. And then I decided it was time to get back to the metro, get back to the hotel, get back to my business. And as I'm walking back, I look up and I see the waiting lady. I started calling her that a number of years after this happened because that's what it struck me that she looked as if she was doing. She looked as if she was waiting on a date. If there are no graves there, if it's just a patch of beautiful grass and a beautiful landscape and the blankets there and the baskets there, it might have been that she and her boyfriend or she and her husband were just on an afternoon trip to the park. She had moved. She was no longer sitting. She was lying down. And although I was a little far away from her, I couldn't help but notice that she was crying. And it occurred to me that she's waiting on something that would never come. She's waiting on her pain to subside. I don't know what happened to her husband. I don't know under what circumstances he was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. But I know that the sacrifice that's made by the men and women who choose to put on the uniform is not the only sacrifice made. A very, very real sacrifice is made for their loved ones. And sometimes those loved ones make the ultimate sacrifice too, and they're left with a life of waiting until they can see their loved ones again. And as far as I know, she is still waiting to hug her husband and to kiss him again and to tell him thank you. I just want you to remember that freedom is truly not free. And there are people that are waiting to see their loved ones again because they've sacrificed everything for all of us. God bless you on Memorial Day. Enjoy yourselves. Hug your loved ones. And make sure you understand the reason that we celebrate. It's 21 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for USS, which stands for United Structural Systems. USS can help make sure that everything that happens underneath you in your home is A-OK, because do you know? If you don't know, you don't know. I know, because when I moved to Mount Pleasant, one of the first calls I made was to United Structural Systems. I said, y'all got to get out here and make sure that everything's A-OK in this house that I just bought. And they did, and they gave me the thumbs up, which was so comforting, gave me peace of mind. You know, the bottom line is you don't know what you don't know, and you certainly don't want to be sold something that you don't need, and they don't do that at USS. What they do give you is that peace of mind that your foundation, that your waterproofing is A-OK, and when it comes to your home, You need to know that to make sure that everything is on the up and up, because you can fix things a lot less expensively if you catch these things early, and that's what USS does. They're problem solvers. USS. Go online at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. They're problem solvers, experienced and local. It's USS. They understand this area, and they want to hear from you. USSTN.com.
Coming up at 5:30, Tulsi Gabbard stepping down as Director of National Intelligence. And former Prince Andrew, he is still being investigated for a number of issues, one of which is sexual misconduct. Again, that's at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us. 26 minutes after the hour. Nincompoop's on the way. Hey, have you asked Harper if he's going to do a nincompoop today? I mean, he doesn't have to.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a
All
try.
right, well,
As I've said before, this may be one that's already been done, but I'll give it a try.
I like it. So Harper is with us on nincompoops. Jackson's got one. It's an exhibition nincompoops. Jackson was sad to report to me that Ken Weaver won yesterday, but I'm proud of you, Jackson.
I want to win it fair and square.
I don't know if that's completely true, but
it's not. I'll cheat and lie to win.
But apparently it was a runaway yesterday.
Yeah, he whooped me.
Yeah, well, there you go. So Weaver retains the trophy for another week. Exhibition nincompoops coming up.
Only
in just a couple
two
of
real
minutes.
nincompoop days next week.
Why only two? Oh, that's right, because Weaver won't be here on Tuesday, so that'll kind of be an exhibition. Although, we could count Harper toward Weaver's tally.
That's fair.
I mean, if we want to, he's in the
We
newsroom.
need 3 days.
We do. We need 3. So we'll do that. So Tuesday, bring the goods, Harper, because that's the real deal, not an exhibition. So there you go.
All right.
Today's a warm-up.
Yes, I've got
An
several
advance
days
notice.
to investigate.
But we got good stuff on the way. As far as, I always get choked up when I tell that story of the waiting lady. It happened to me that way, and it struck me like a ton of bricks when I saw her, and the fact that she was there all day long and, as if she didn't know what to do with herself, and I imagine that she didn't. I try not to, when I tell the story, presume to understand what she was going through. I try not to presume to understand what anyone that has lost a loved one in service to their country has gone through, because I'm lucky enough. I mean, we have my brother has a son. I have a nephew who is currently serving. He's over at Fort Stewart, and we're so proud of young Alex for his service to his country. Proud that he made that decision, and he is a good young man, and he's a fine member of the United States military, and we love him to death. But, for those that have lost someone in far too soon in an unnatural way, if you will, I don't presume to understand what that is like, because there must be an immense amount of pride intermingled with an immense amount of sadness. And maybe, every other emotion under the sun mixed in, anger and frustration. But just know, if you are that person, if you do have someone that gave all in service to their country, then just know how insanely proud we are and thankful I am that we enjoy the liberty of freedom, and we enjoy the ability to have a fun time this weekend, thanks to the sacrifice that's made. I'll say one more thing about Arlington. I've never been overseas, but I understand that overseas it is as poignant, if not more so, when you see some of the cemeteries that are over there. But Arlington is just an incredible place. I think by last count, I believe that there were 400,000 or thereabouts individuals that have been laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. Obviously, it was the property of Robert E. Lee. It was used famously or infamously in the midst and in the aftermath of the United States Civil War as a place to inter the Union dead. And then eventually it became our national cemetery. If you have never seen the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers, if you've never seen the Changing of the Guard, it will, I mean, if you've got a heart and a soul for the United States, it will rip you up. The solemn nature of the ceremony, the fact that we are not leaving ours behind, the fact that we do not leave them unguarded, no matter what, and just the symbolism of our belief and love and how much we cherish those who serve in our military, particularly now in that it is voluntary service. It's quite something special, and I would encourage you to make a point to do so. Washington, D.C. has a lot of wonderful elements to it. I mean, there's just so much history. There's so many monuments to various points in our American history, and I absolutely love every aspect of it, and nothing more than Arlington National Cemetery. It brings up all of those emotions and more. 31 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Back after this.
.31 past 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, that weather forecast and traffic report. I know you're interested in those, and we've got them on the way. Tulsi Gabbard says she's not going to be the director of national intelligence here soon. Her last day in the post will be June 30th. ABC's Selena Wang has more.
She says that she is resigning and stepping away from public service because her husband has been diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer. I just want to read to you a portion from her resignation letter. She writes, quote, "My husband Abraham has recently been diagnosed with an extremely rare form of bone cancer. He faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. months. I cannot in good conscience ask him to face this fight alone while I continue in this demanding and time-consuming position.
Back here in Nashville, a federal judge today dismissed a human smuggling case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, finding that the Justice Department's pursuit of criminal charges was designed to punish him for challenging his mistaken deportation to El Salvador last year. Abrego Garcia's deportation last year became an embarrassment for the Trump administration when they were ordered to send him back to the U.S. Abrego Garcia claimed that both the timing of the criminal charges and inflammatory statements about him by the Trump administration officials demonstrated that the prosecution was vindictive. U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw ruled from Nashville, granting his motion to dismiss for selective or vindictive prosecution. And finally, British police, they're appealing for witnesses as they seek to broaden their investigation into potential offenses by former Prince Andrew, including sexual misconduct. British police say they're in touch with a lawyer for a woman who said she was trafficked to Andrew back in 2010.
He has consistently denied all wrongdoing. Andrew was arrested last February for suspected misconduct in public office. He was questioned for hours and then released. His arrest came after emails published in the Epstein files appeared to show Andrew had forwarded government information to Epstein while he was the trade envoy for the UK government back in 2010. His brother King Charles removing all of Andrew's titles last year over the scandal surrounding his friendship with Epstein. Marcus Moore, ABC News, London.
That is the latest news. Weather and traffic are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We have a crash that is still trying to be cleared up. This thing's been here all afternoon. 24 eastbound at I-440. Also a wreck reported Nolensville Pike at Tusculum Road. 65 southbound at Briley Parkway, the Ellington Parkway exit there. That's 90A and B. We've got a wreck in Madison. And still, the right lane is blocked north of town, Robertson County, 65 southbound near exit 112. I'm Jay Harper.
We'll be in the 70s today, back in the 80s this weekend. Hit and miss rain showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. The days are not washouts, but there is more rain coming from Memorial Day on Monday.
I mean, who doesn't want better water? I mean, obviously you want better water, right? Well, how do you achieve better water? Well, one way, the easiest way, the best way is to contact, wait for it, Better Water. Better Water LLC. Better Water LLC has been around for a long time, since 1971. They're family-owned business right in Smyrna. They treat all of Middle Tennessee. These are the same guys that treat the water at the hospital, the same guys that treat the water at the coffee shop. You know this is good for human consumption. You know it's good for sterilization and all of those things. I mean, this is the best of the best, and you can have it at your house now. Think of it as a big old Brita water filter for your home. Scalable from under the sink to entire house applications. Everything from your water gets removed. Sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli. I have a series underneath my sink in my downstairs area where I get my branch water for, the Friday night festivities, right? I've got 4 separate filters that filter out various items and various things like the aforementioned sulfur and iron and chlorine and bacteria and E. coli and all of that. Water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights, reverse osmosis, you name it, they do it at Better Water. Go to betterwater.com to find out more. Betterwater.com, or better yet, give them a call at 615-355-6063. That's 355-6063 for Better Water LLC. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get back to a conversation about Memorial Day coming up in a moment. Do I need to take line one now, Jackson, or can I do that real quick? Line one real quick. I'll take Brad real quick, and then we'll move on to some fun with Nincompoops in the news. But I want to talk to Brad first. Hey, Brad, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for calling in.
Well, I've been listening through the day off and on when I could, and I'm glad to see that you and some of the other hosts are putting out there what this weekend's really all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, I'm a veteran, and I'd never been to Arlington. I'd really like to go. And I've buried a bunch of people in a lot of different national cemeteries in the Southeast. I was down in Florida, based there, and on one of the honor guard teams, and we traveled all over, different. I mean, yeah, we did your little country cemetery, the little mom and pop cemetery, little small place, and we also did, national cemeteries in Pensacola and places like that.
Yes, sir.
And and I've lost some friends, years ago, and and I look at it this way: all the ones that went before me, they're my big brothers, and all the ones that come after me, they're my little brothers and sisters.
That's nice. That's
nice.
And
so I'm just glad people are putting the word out there what
yes,
it's
sir.
really all about.
Well, Brad, God bless you, sir. Thank you for everything you did for this country. We appreciate you.
I've been retired and and doing my thing, but I don't regret anything. I don't I wasn't a hero. I was just doing a job that I wanted to do. And a lot of us are that way,
Yes, sir. When did you serve, if you don't mind my asking, Brad?
80 to 93.
Oh, 13 years, is that right? 13?
Almost.
Okay. Well, God bless you.
No, I'm 12, 92. Almost
okay.
12.
Okay. Well, did you catch some of Gulf War I then?
I did all of that. In fact, Hussein went into Kuwait August the 2nd on a Sunday. I went to work Monday and got told, and I left that Tuesday. I was there over 9 months.
Oh, wow.
I come back in April the next year.
Yeah. Well, we so appreciate you, and I will never.
Things too, so.
Well, and I'll say this, just in your honor and in the honor of every person that served and sacrificed. I mean,
well, a lot of people get caught up. Hey, it's the first official weekend of the month. Let's go to the lake. Let's do this. And sometimes it gets forgotten.
That's right.
I mean, not everybody, but I mean, some people, seem to forget. And like I said, I've listened off and on all day today when I could, and all you guys were talking about it. Hey, this is about the brothers and sisters that didn't come home. It's not about me. My day's Veterans Day.
Right. That's right. That's right. I don't need to tell you. God bless you, Brad. Have a wonderful weekend, brother.
All right, buddy. You
yes,
too.
sir.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. I mean, you can hear the emotion in Brad's voice, and I get choked up just understanding the years of service and sacrifice that he made. But he's right. I mean, Memorial Day is for those who did not make it. Veterans Day is for all of those that did. And we remind you of that. Just not everybody needs it. Not most of you don't need it, maybe a few. But, both things can be true. And this is what I always say every Memorial Day, that, you know what, this is probably the most somber holiday that we celebrate in America. If you think about it, I mean, I guess you could look at Easter a little bit that way, but, he is risen. I mean, Easter is a wonderful thing, right? So we don't really look at that way, but Memorial Day is a time of reflection. However, both things can be true. You reflect on those sacrifices that lead to our ability to have fun, to have a good time, to get out and about, to go out on the lake, to grill out and we would be remiss if we didn't do all of that to honor those that made it possible for us to do it. We would be remiss, Jackson. I say to you, sir, it would be a damned shame on Memorial Day weekend if we didn't do nincompoops in the news.
Nincompoops in the news.
I don't know about y'all, but nincompoops in the news, that's America. You dang right it is. We go all across the state of Tennessee, the volunteer state, all across these United States of America. Nay, the globe. We find the nincompoops where they live and they breathe. Jackson, if you don't have a problem with it, I think we should let Jay go first.
I was going to let him pick the order.
Okay, well, Jay Harper, you get to select the order of operation today. Okay. You're kind of a pseudo guest, not really a guest, but kind of a guest on Nincompoops. So you get to pick who goes first, who goes second, who goes third.
Let's have Mr. Jackson go first today.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Well, thank you, Mr. Harper.
Okay.
Who's going second and third?
Oh, all right. I'll take second, and in honor of the man, it's his show. Yeah. He gets to bring it home.
I'll pull up the rear. Sure.
Yep. It is his show for now.
Yeah. That'll probably change sooner rather than later. Jackson?
Yes.
Go.
Hooters wants you to bring the whole family. The iconic restaurant chain is rebranding itself as a family-friendly, beach-themed eatery.
No, it is not.
The chain CEO says he wants to think of Hooters as its original beach-themed eatery and bring the kids. Hooters may not be the first place you think to bring the family for dinner, but the chain CEO is hoping to change that. The restaurant, known for its Hooters girls who serve food in revealing outfits, is working to reestablish its brand as a neighborhood place, CEO Neil Kiefer told People magazine. Kiefer said he wants people to think of Hooters as its original beach-themed eatery and a place where families are welcome. The 74-year-old CEO started at Hooters in its inception in 1983 as the chain's attorney and took over as CEO in 1992. After the original owners sold the chain's intellectual property and conceptual rights in 2001, Kiefer said the chain faced challenges under private equity ownership, which included server uniforms becoming over-sexualized, he said. Kiefer said he and the original owners reacquired the brand's IP in 2025 when Hooters of America filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Changes to the uniform and menu items are expected in the rebrand in an effort to build trust among families.
What?
They're getting rid of the Hooters girls, Matt.
What? Is this Babylon Bee?
No, this is KTLA, LA's very own Channel 5.
This is fake news. This cannot be real.
I have seen that story as well, man. in other places.
Well, I believe, dadgummit, I believe Jay.
One of the menu items is they're changing their sauce. He said they didn't use the appropriate sauce, and about 70% of their food products have that sauce on it.
Look, if Hooters is thinking about, with this rebrand, buying some advertising on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, I'll take all of this back, what I'm about to say. I'll take all of it back and say I was just funning. But I've never enjoyed the food.
I think they have great food.
You think they have good food?
I think they have really good food.
You like their wings?
Their wings are pretty good.
Wings.
Yeah.
I think it's bar food. That's what it is.
I mean, I get that. I understand that.
It's solid chain bar food.
I almost got kicked out of a Hooters in Knoxville for taking off my shoes.
That's so on brand.
Oh, you're going to say taking off something else.
No, and I said that to the woman. So this is real quick because I know we got to go pretty quick. My brother and I are riding our motorcycles back from Bristol. We went to the Bristol race on motorcycles, and we're riding our motorcycles back from Bristol, and it's been raining. And I've got a great rain suit on, but my shoes are not waterproof. My boots, I realized, are not waterproof, and so my feet are soaked. My brother did not have an appropriate rain suit. We didn't think it was going to rain, but it did, and so he is absolutely soaked. So we find ourselves in Knoxville at the Hooters in Knoxville. We get in there. Brian gets his bags are obviously waterproof, so Brian immediately gets new clothes and just goes straight to the bathroom, and he's going to change his clothes. Well, I got socks to change my socks, so I'm sitting in the booth. We've got beers ordered. We're waiting on, food or whatever, and I'm waiting on Brian to order. And the Hooters lady in her little bitty tiny push-up top and her itty-bitty, barely there shorts sees me taking off my shoes so I can put on new socks, and she says, "I'm sorry, you can't take your shoes off here." And I'm like, I this came out of my mouth before I was like, "Ma'am, have you looked at yourself?"
I hope they kicked you out of that Hooters.
They did. She said, "Well, I'm just telling you, you can't be barefooted." And I said, "I'm going to put my shoes right back on right after I put some socks on." And I said, "I will go to the bathroom if you want me to." And she just kind of walked off.
So, in terms of the food, in baseball terms, I would say they have a good fastball, but no off-speed pitch.
I've just never been that much. I mean,
I haven't been that much either, but every time I've never been there and been like, "Oh, that was awful."
But here's the deal. I don't think. Well, that's all fair. That's fair and good. But you're low. If you take away the hook, let's be honest. The hook is the pretty girls in the tight stuff.
Oh, this brand's gonna die fast.
If you take away the hook, how many places have better quality bar food or as good a quality bar food?
You can go
right?
to Chili's.
You can go anywhere.
Right, Buffalo Wild Wing.
Right.
It's just a wing place.
Yeah, it's just another wing joint. And you're not going to get families to buy in.
Because they're going to see, honestly, they should just change the name and open something different.
Right. Why are you calling it Hooters with the owl and the eyes and we know what they really are and all of that?
So Hooters, corporate, nincompoops.
Nincompoops. Jay Harper, you're a nincompoop, sir?
Okay, I don't know how this is going to go, but here we go. All right, a couple renting a home in Michigan say their landlord came over. He was going to do some repairs while they were gone, and he ended up redecorating a woman's walls. They say they have him on video in their home video surveillance cameras. This is their landlord now. Having sex with a woman in their living room.
What?
Javon Crawford is the tenant. This is in Detroit. He said he was at the hospital. His wife was in the hospital. They were there, on a kind of a serious issue. They started getting these notifications on their phones from their home security camera. They checked the footage, saw their landlord buck naked having sex with a woman on their couch. Javon says he and his wife watched in horror as their landlord made himself comfortable. They say the sex lasted for quite some time.
Oh, wow.
But he even went into their kitchen, made himself a sandwich, all while buck-ass naked, and
Harper
was walking around in their house eating a sandwich with no clothes on. All of this on their surveillance cameras.
Well, he needed some sustenance.
Well, my favorite part of his story is Harper felt the need to add, it lasted for quite some time. Well, good for you, buddy. Way to go.
And they're wondering if this guy's done this before because, he seemed to kind of know. We knew where stuff was in the house, and it was really, really creepy. They say they had to deep clean the home because his wife is a germaphobe.
Well, I would be too.
You wouldn't want to sit on the couch again.
No.
So that dude who is, they're not giving his name, but this reporter on TV, the channel, whatever, there in Detroit, I mean, she confronted the landlord. They confronted the guy, and he didn't know what they were talking about. No comment.
That guy, Jay, is a nincompoop.
He's a nincompoop.
He's an absolute nincompoop. And here's to finish it up for the week. A standard bottle of wine is 3 inches in diameter at its base. It's just shy of 12 inches tall. It holds 750 milliliters of liquid and weighs more than 2.5 pounds. I want you to keep this in mind as I tell you this story. While being processed in jail, a Michigan woman has been found to have concealed a stolen, unopened bottle of Cupcake Vineyards Pinot Grigio wine in her prison wallet, if you will. That's right.
They let you have a wallet in there?
According to investigators, I'm trying to be good here, Jackson, although Jay's nasty in the joint up. So according to investigators who charged the woman with attempting to smuggle contraband into a penal institution. Yeah, there was don't say it. I almost said it myself. Don't say it.
I don't think that's the right.
I don't think that's the right thing. I don't think.
That's not where it was.
According to police reports, Monique Megchani, 48, was arrested earlier this month for trespassing at the CVS pharmacy in Grand Traverse. She had previously been barred from the store, appeared at the business May 9, allegedly stole wine, which she consumed in the store's bathroom. After being hospitalized due to high intoxication, Megchani was discharged from local medical center and immediately returned to CVS May 10th. Police called the store, arrested Megchani at the checkout counter for trespassing on property again. At the time, the arresting officer was unaware that Megchani had stolen another bottle of Cupcake Pinot Grigio and had hid the bottle inside of herself.
Where? Belly button?
In her vagina. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted, Jackson? You got what you wanted, didn't you? You begged for it and you got it. Now everybody's all... Megchani, cops reported, was handcuffed, checked for weapons, and put in the squad car. However, that process was not smooth. During this time, Megchani advised that she was unable to get into the vehicle. I guess she did. She had I described the size of the thing. After some convincing, Megchani was able to slowly maneuver herself into the back seat. As the arrestee was subsequently being booked into the county jail, female corrections deputy conducted a final check of her person. According to the police department, during that examination, it was learned that she had concealed a bottle of Cupcake Vineyards Pinot Grigio inside of herself. Megchani, I've got a picture of her. Looks like an interesting character. Complied with the deputy's order to uncork the wine. The screw top container was removed and still intact. The evidence was eventually destroyed because of, quote, a biohazard concern. Charged with prison contraband, which is a felony, misdemeanor trespass, etc. $6,000 bond. She's being held in lieu of that, also facing a number of other charges. There you go. Ms. Megchani, Cupcake Pinot Grigio is pretty good wine. Very sweet. This lady's a nincompoop. And she has some special skills.
Exactly.
That I feel like, I feel like she could earn a tidy living. I would advise her to go apply at Hooters, but.
Yeah, or maybe hang with that guy, the landlord. Because apparently he can do stuff for a very long time.
That's how we play Ninkapoop's in the news. Vote Murphy, vote Jackson, vote Jay Harper. It's 56 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Kraft Body Scan. I've got a question for you. When it comes to your health, don't you want to know what's going on inside of your body or just hope that everything's fine? This is an interesting commercial that I'm doing in the aftermath of the Ninka boot story that I just did. But bottom line is this. CT scan technology can find out what's going on inside of that body. The idea of knowing versus not knowing. Kraft Body Scan, in all seriousness, folks, it's quick, it's non-invasive, and walking out, you have real answers that tell you what's happening inside of you, right? I mean, and I did this. It was simple. It was 8 minutes or so, and I had the confidence of knowing that the heart's okay, the lungs are okay, other aspects of the body's okay. I did the full body scan, but the heart and lung scan right now is just $99. That's a $2,500 value for the couple. $99. Get this done today, friends, by going to togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50, or call 615-436-1000, 615-436-1000 for our friends at Kraft Body Scan.
It is 2 minutes past 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a traffic report, a weather forecast coming up. Tulsi Gabbard says she's resigning her position as Director of National Intelligence, citing her husband's cancer diagnosis. ABC's Selena Wang tells us that Gabbard, in many people's eyes, was not a conventional pick for the role.
She came into the role without any traditional intelligence background that drew a lot of scrutiny from members on Capitol Hill. She also built her national profile as an anti-war Democrat, someone who warned against regime change wars. Then she ended up serving as a Republican in this administration during these escalating conflicts in Iran, in Venezuela. And Gabbard has at times made public comments that appear to put her at odds with the messaging from the president and the White House.
Her resignation effective June 30th. Kevin Warsh was sworn in today at the White House as chairman of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. He succeeds Jerome Powell. He was sworn in today at the White House, and after that, he had this to say.
While I'm not naive about the challenges we face, I believe, Mr. President, these years can bring unmatched prosperity that will raise living standards for Americans from all walks of life. And the Fed has something to do with it.
Partial audio now from the 911 call made for NASCAR star Kyle Busch. That audio's been released, and it paints a grim picture of the now deceased driver. In the audio that was first obtained by TMZ, an unidentified man is heard explaining the situation to a dispatcher.
I've got an individual that's shortness of breath, very hot, thinks he's going to pass out, and is producing a little bit of blood, coughing up some blood.
Is he awake?
He is awake. He's awake. He's on the bathroom floor right now.
Busch reportedly collapsed in a race simulator Wednesday and was transferred to a hospital in Charlotte. The 41-year-old then died Thursday after being in the hospital for just that short amount of time. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Traffic actually starting to clear out a bit. We still have a couple of problems. Broadway at 8th Avenue. We've got a wreck downtown. Also near the airport, Donaldson Pike and Murfreesboro Pike, a crash. And still wrapping up this wreck, 24 eastbound at I-440. I'm Jay Harper.
We will attempt to raise the level of discourse for the final hour of the radio show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you all for voting for the final nincompoops of the week. Jay Harper getting a lot of votes, but not as many as me.
I'm just thinking.
You get an assist, by the way.
What?
You get an assist if I get the victory.
That's fair.
Well, it is fair. Jackson, can I tell? I know I can tell. It's my show. Jackson did not want to do that story. That was originally Jackson's story. I had another story, and Jackson said, "I've got this story. I'm not going to do this story because I don't want certain words coming out of my lips." And I was like, "Well, what would that be?" And then Jackson actively encouraged me to say the word that he didn't want to say on the radio. So there you go. How about that?
And what was that word, Matt?
It involved where the woman put the standard-sized bottle of wine. This was a regulation-sized bottle of wine that she hid inside of herself while attempting to smuggle it into jail. Had trouble getting into the police cars. They were arresting her. Anyway, 615-737-9986. We've got news to get into before we say goodbye and adios for the weekend and for Memorial Day. Obviously, a best-of program for Memorial Day as we will be off for Monday, and then we're back on Tuesday. Hope you enjoy your Memorial Day with family and friends. We invite you to remember the reason that we celebrate Memorial Day, that we remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice to their country, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Several of you say that you missed our My Story, The Waiting Lady. I'm certain that'll be up on podcast, and we'll get that up and running, and you can find it at 997WTN.com or any place that we post our podcast on social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, and all of those sorts of things. 9311 says, "Nincompoops in the news used to be funny." Well, we'll try to do better. Some days are better than others, I'm assuming 9311, you feel like that today's Nincompoops got a little bit dirty for your taste. And I understand that some days are a little dirtier than others, and we apologize for that. And once again, we'll try to do better next time around. In the meantime, I'm just, I think I'm destroying it. Jay, you're getting your fair share of votes.
Yeah, I know, but apparently that is a repeat, and I had suspected that it may be.
I believe that was a Ken Weaver classic.
Jay's story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, still good. I mean, we're not going to fault Harper. He can't keep up with all these things.
You did better than Weaver did, though.
What, in the voting? Or in the telling of the tale?
Telling of the tale.
Now, don't do that. Now, don't do that.
I just call balls and strikes.
You start pitting two newsmen against one another, and that's just going to end badly.
Then you got a news fight like an anchor man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
You got a news tussle. Now, what were the rules? No hitting in the face?
Yeah.
Have you picked your movie yet, by the way, young man?
A movie that... Yeah.
Okay. Coming up in the second half of this hour, we will present once again to you Matt Murphy Movie Mayhem, where you get to vote on the movie that Jackson and I are forced to watch over the holiday. And I'm hoping for a long one because it's a holiday. I'm hoping for a director's cut of Lord of the Rings because it's a holiday.
I haven't seen those.
You haven't seen those?
No.
They're really good.
I can't stay awake in them.
What?
Really? I've tried to watch those things, and
you know,
I'm out I go.
I didn't have a lot of interest. I had a friend of mine recommend it, and I got into the first one, and I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked and loved it. But I can understand how you'd fall asleep. I mean, they're long. Yeah. The director's cut, Jay, did you watch the director's cut? It's like 4 hours each. No. I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. Speaking of a lot, boy, oh boy, that Justin Pearson, he's a lot, is he not? Apparently, Justin Pearson does not want to win the 9th Congressional District race. He just wants to perform and raise money and yell and scream and, dance on stage or whatever, because he is proudly announcing that he has received an endorsement by none other than Rashida Tlaib. Well, won't that get you moderates in Middle Tennessee, buddy? Do you not understand that on the redrawing of the district lines that you're going to have to convince a certain amount of moderates that you're not the crazy that we all think you are, that you're not the socialist that we all think you are, that you're not the race hustler that we all believe you to be? Yet here you're out proudly announcing, I can't believe that it's such an honor to be endorsed by Rashida Tlaib. It's like, Tell me you don't really want to win the 9th congressional district race without telling me you don't really want to win the 9th congressional district race. There's that out there. Then this. Anybody see the Fox Nashville post on the X machine? They are getting destroyed over this. Jackson, I'm going to read this to you. Jay, you can chime in on this too if you'd like. I know you're busy in there. So I'm going to read this to you from the X machine. It is a post linking to a story on Fox Nashville. It's some fluff piece on Mount Juliet, okay? As you well know, I lived in Mount Juliet for the better part of 3 years. Jackson, you're right down the way from Mount Juliet. Over there in, what do they call that over there? Hermitage? Yeah, Hermitage.
Old Hickory.
Is that different than Hermitage?
Yes.
Okay. Well, are you Hermitage adjacent?
Maybe.
But you're near the Hermitage Golf Course. All right. What? Oh, finally I said something that makes it. I mean, I'm not saying where you live. I mean, I'll give you your address if you want me to. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Jackson's getting mad because I'm giving his whereabouts. Mount Juliet. Here's the line. Tell me when I hit something that sounds weird. Mount Juliet, located east of downtown Nashville, is known as the gateway to Appalachia and the Atlantic seaboard. One of Tennessee's fastest growing communities, it balances nature, history. Are you already there?
Seaboard?
I lived in Mount Juliet for 3 years. You know what Mount Juliet is known for?
Beachfront property?
It's the home of Charlie Daniels. This is what it's known for. Mount Juliet is the home of Charlie Daniels. And that is the beginning and the end of this story. I never once heard Mount Juliet referred to as the gateway to Appalachia. But whatever.
I mean, so is Lebanon, Cookville.
Any place before you get
the Buc-ee's.
Any place you get to before the plateau, right? Once you get to the plateau, there's Appalachia. Enjoy. Just laziness. Mike is in Old Hickory. Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good because, you know what? I'm celebrating the military this weekend.
As am I.
Are you? And you know what? They gave us freedom. And so why don't we just drop all the antagonism and the hate? Because you know what? That between you and me, we've got differences. But you know why? It's called freedom. And it's because the military gave it to us over the decades and the 100 and 200 years that this country was built on, that we are a free nation, that you and I can have big differences, yell at each other. But this weekend, the millions of people that have died to defend our freedom, we need to recognize that. Because I guarantee you, Matt, on Tuesday morning, the Democrats, the socialists, and the communists are just going to go right back after our throats. And that's why we just need to go this weekend, tell your family members and whatever, you've got freedom of speech due to the military that defended it, the people that died for it. But on Tuesday morning, we're going to go right back to hate and anger by the Democrats, socialists, and communists.
I'm not trying to argue with you, Mike, but I take one exception to what you just said because I agree with just about every bit of it. But I take one exception. You ready for it?
Yeah.
You think the socialists and the Democrats, but I repeat myself, are actually going to be celebrating the sacrifices that have been made for this great country? Do you think that?
The Democrats and the socialists are not going to celebrate.
That's right.
They hate our military. They hate our country. That's why you look at all the things they say today, Matt, today. They're not going to celebrate. They're going to go in their holes this weekend and just get more angered up.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is that on Tuesday morning, the anger is going to really erupt.
Mike, you're over there in Old Hickory. Is Old Hickory near Hermitage?
Yes.
Okay.
Orders.
Thank you. Also, you're near the lake. When do we meet at the boat Monday?
Hey, let me ask you something.
Uh-huh.
You want to make some money? You like SpaceX?
What?
And Elon Musk?
Whoa! No, I heard when you first said that, Mike. I heard, "Do you want to make some money? Do you like safe sex?" I think you said SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Okay, at first I thought you said safe sex, and I was getting
no,
concerned.
He's the guy that runs that.
Oh yeah. I get it. I got it. No, I like Elon Musk. I like SpaceX. Yes.
The boring tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Boring tunnel.
Yeah.
Guy,
some people say that place is going to flood, but it looks pretty good. Did you see the video? Did you see the recent video?
No.
It looks
but
nice.
What I want you to do, Matt, is just celebrate the military this weekend. Celebrate freedom.
We'll do.
And guess what? And prepare for Tuesday morning. We're going to go right back to the hate and anger by the media, Democrats, socialists, and communists.
Mike, great call. Thank you for making it. Have a good weekend. Good point. 19 after the hour. Also, several on the super text line are wondering if Mike is Jackson's uncle. I don't know. Maybe. Jackson says nothing, so perhaps silence is confirmation. Who knows? 615-737-9986. We continue momentarily on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, the Glock store just keeps getting better. Better and better and better. When I say the Glock store keeps getting better, I mean every day they're adding something new. They've got incredible accessories and Glocks and manufacturing division and the Shoot 270 rooms, Never Lanes rooms at Shoot 270. But when I'm talking about better, I'm primarily talking about the event that's coming next week. Very, very excited to have the big open house next Saturday, not tomorrow, but next Saturday at the Glock store. And here's the deal, friends. We are now up to, listen closely, up to $65,000 worth of incredible gun gear that will be raffled off between 10 and 2. They're giving away 5 Glocks. 5. Each of them featuring some of their favorite performance parts from companies like Radian, Maple Leaf, and others. That's in addition to the 2 Ruger RXMs they're giving away, one stock and one with an aim-point COA optic. You'll also get to shoot a fully built M1X for free, ammo included. We got all kind of guest speakers. I'll be there. Dan Mandis will be there. Chris Hand will be there. And we want to see you. The first 200 people who spend $150 will get a set of $50 Save Your Electronic earmuffs absolutely free. And to make it as easy as possible to get those muffs, virtually everything's on sale with huge discounts. But it's this coming Saturday only. Not tomorrow, but next Saturday. It is the one and only Glock Store open house. You heard me correctly, $65,000 worth of stuff to be given away between 10 and 2. We'll see you there at the one and only Glock Store. Go online at glockstore.com for more information. That's glockstore.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Timberland Cabinetry. Timberland Cabinets in Columbia, Tennessee, and they also have a showroom in Franklin. More on that later. They've been providing incredible, high-quality kitchen cabinets at affordable prices since 2005. When I walk through their doors, and I told you the story when they first began advertising with us, brand new sponsor, by the way. If you've not heard about them yet, you will quite a bit, and we want you to go. If you're in the marketplace for kitchen cabinets, for bathroom cabinets, they are your go-to solution. But I walked in, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And I know that we'll be redoing the kitchen at some point over the next year or so, and this is the only place I'm going. A beautiful showroom that showcases some of the cabinets that they've got going on, and it's all made right there in Columbia. I love that. If you're a home builder, a remodeler, or if you're an owner that's looking to kind of do it yourself in terms of acting as your own general contractor, they can supply you with the cabinets that are as beautiful as they are functional, whether you're moving into a new home or upgrading your old kitchen. And here's the deal. They also have connections with sinks, connections with countertops, anything you need for the remodel, they can hook you up and they can make it look as tip-top as you're looking for. Timberland Cabinetry also provides turnkey service that includes designing, measuring, quoting, ordering, installation to local clients as well. You need this in your life, friends. You need Timberland Cabinets. Now, I encourage you to go over and say hello to them in Columbia or Franklin. You can find them online at timberlandcabinets.com. That's timberlandcabinets.com. Maybe give them a call and thank them for being a sponsor of the Matt Murphy Show. We certainly do. 931-499-7170, 499-7170 for our friends at Timberland Cabinets.
Former Prince Andrew being investigated on a number of charges, including sexual misconduct. We'll have that story. Also, it will be a weekend of remembrances at NASCAR events for racing legend Kyle Busch. That's all coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. The Matt Murphy Show continues. Thank you, Jay Harper. He's got news coming up in about 5 minutes or so, a little less than that, as a matter of fact. Want to catch you up with all of the headlines before we call it a weekend and head off to an extended weekend, a 3-day weekend for most of us, Memorial Day weekend. Episode 1043 in progress right now. Now, we mentioned this at the top of the show, and I will reiterate it, that a judge has dismissed the charges, at least for now, in the Abrego Garcia case. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who had human smuggling charges against him. These charges were dismissed by U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw. Waverly Crenshaw graduated from Vanderbilt years ago. Waverly Crenshaw was a Barack Obama appointee who took his seat on the U.S. District Court in 2016. Ruling from Nashville, he granted Abrego Garcia's motion to dismiss for, quote, selective or vindictive prosecution. According to him, without Abrego Garcia's successful lawsuit challenging his removal to El Salvador, the government would not have brought this prosecution. And to which I say, well, obviously that's the case, Your Honor. If Abrego Garcia had not been successful in challenging his correct, by the way, deportation to El Salvador, then he would never have come to this country again, and there would have been no way to charge him for this crime to begin with. He should have been charged in 2022. Sadly, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, upon apprehension, felt like they had no recourse because the Biden administration was not going to hold him on any illegal deportation charge or any deportation opportunity through Immigration and Customs Enforcement because Joe Biden didn't do any of that. Abrego Garcia was charged with human smuggling and conspiracy to commit human smuggling, with prosecutors claiming he accepted money to transport people who were illegally in the United States of America around this country. And all of that, to my knowledge, has not been refuted. None of it. The charges stem from a 2022 traffic stop in Tennessee for speeding. A Department of Homeland Security agent testified at an earlier hearing that he did not begin investigating the traffic stop until after the U.S. Supreme Court ordered that the Trump administration bring Abrego Garcia back from El Salvador. Abrego Garcia is a Salvadorian citizen with an American wife and child, has lived in Maryland for some period of time, or did. He illegally came to the United States of America as a teenager. He received a 2019 order that allowed him to stay in as much as it was claimed that he was under threat if he were to go back to El Salvador. The Trump administration, they're saying that Abrego Garcia under no circumstances can remain in the United States of America, and they're now saying that they will deport him to a third country, potentially Liberia, if it is determined that he cannot be brought up on charges. And I don't know if this is the end of the road in this case. I would assume that the government has an opportunity to appeal this to a higher authority prior to Abrego Garcia kind of slipping back into the United States of America. There's no question that he's here illegally. There's really not a lot of question as to what he was doing with those illegal aliens that he was moving from this place to that place, which is the very definition of human smuggling. So I would expect that this will be appealed. The litigants in the lawsuit seeking to block the newly appointed congressional districts, arguing to the General Assembly, exceeded the mandate authorized by Governor Bill Lee. Their argument is that Governor Bill Lee exceeded his mandate in the special session. They have been told to expect a speedy decision. They were told that earlier this week by a panel of 3 state judges appointed to oversee the case. I'm going to give you some of the details on this. Plus, we have Matt Murphy Movie Mayhem coming up, where Jay Harper picks a movie, I pick a movie, Jackson picks a movie. We're going to put it up on the poll on the YouTube chat, and you in the YouTube chat, get over there to the YouTube chat, because you will have a chance to select the movie that we watch this weekend. We need to figure out a way where a listener, a selected listener, gets to nominate a film. Jackson is shaking his head already. He does not trust the listening audience. I really can't say as I blame him. They'd pick Gone with the Wind so fast. Make your head spin. Make your head spin. Gone with the Wind's such a long movie, it has an intermission, Jackson. I'm not even making that up. It is 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
"31 minutes past 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you another weather forecast and a traffic report here in a bit. The inquiry into former Prince Andrew is being described as a complex investigation, as British authorities say they've interviewed another woman who claims she was trafficked to one of his homes. ABC's Marcus Moore has details.
While Andrew has not commented on this specific case, he has consistently denied all wrongdoing. The prince was arrested last February for suspected misconduct in public office. He was questioned for hours and then released. His arrest came after emails published in the Epstein files appeared to show Andrew had forwarded government information to Epstein while he was the trade envoy for the UK government back in 2010. His brother King Charles removing all of Andrew's titles last year over the scandal surrounding his friendship with Epstein.
ABC News is told that this woman has not alleged any formal charges against Andrew. It will be a weekend of remembrances at NASCAR events for Kyle Busch, who died suddenly this week, leaving behind a wife and 2 young children. ABC's Alex Stone has the latest.
Could I get an ambulance?
This is the 911 call for help from North Carolina. It came from the GM Charlotte Technical Center the day before Kyle Busch died.
Got an individual that's shortness of breath, very hot, thinks he's going to pass out, and is producing a little bit of blood, coughing up some blood.
Busch was taken to a hospital where he died at the age of 41. NASCAR CEO Steve O'Donnell on Friday remembering his friend.
We watched him become a husband and a father, the same way we watched him become a champion, and we all did that as a family.
Kyle Busch's cause of death has not yet been revealed. Alex Stone, ABC News.
We now turn to the closing money news. For that, here's Mike Dubusky.
Major market indexes were up to continue a late week rally to make an 8th straight winning week. The Dow was up 294 points going into the holiday weekend. The S&P gained 28 points, and the Nasdaq rose 51 points. Stocks continue to hover in record territory, even while a University of Michigan survey showed U.S. household consumer sentiment falling to a record low. The those inflation worries brought on by the war with Iran. Shares of off-price retailer Ross Stores were up after the company reported strong quarterly profits. Estee Lauder shares were up 10% after the company said it was no longer considering a possible merger with the Spanish cosmetics and fragrance company Busch. Clothing company Everlane, known for sustainable and ethically sourced production, has signed an agreement to be acquired by Chinese fast fashion giant Shein. The takeover bid arrives at a time when Everlane is struggling with falling sales. Everlane did not disclose the purchase price.
That is the latest news. Traffic, weather, there next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Well, downtown still trying to, well, actually, this is the airport. Pardon me. I've got another one downtown, but this one is the near the airport. Donaldson Pike and Murfreesboro Pike, a crash. The one downtown, it's Broadway at 8th Avenue, Rosa Parks, where they kind of come together. Those the only two crashes reported. Traffic starting to clear out fairly nicely here. I'm Jay Harper.
More rain coming from Memorial Day on Monday.
If you're looking for something to do with your spouse or significant other and you got a little time on your hands because you got an extra day or so for the Memorial Day holiday, what if there's something that you can do together that makes you both feel better and look better? Maybe even check off one of those New Year's resolutions you made 5 months ago. Does that sound like a winner to you? The answer, of course, is Contours LLC in Cool Springs. You and your spouse can both do a belly buster special for $99 all the way. I mean, all you got to do is come in and lie under the red light therapy and lose a guaranteed 2 inches or more off your belly and your stomach area. FDA cleared, no pain, no complications, no downtime. It's a win-win. And it only costs you $99 for you and $99 for your significant other. That's a pretty good deal, friends. Now, ask them about the Murph when you stop by. Book at 615-236-9960. That's 615-236-9960, or go online at contoursllc.com. I'll give you that website one more time. Friends, I've done this. This works. I'm telling you, I lost 2.67 inches around my midsection. First treatment. What do you have to lose? Well, I'll tell you this. You don't have anything to lose but inches at Contours LLC. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. All right, so we got rain moving in and moving out, and that's creating a little bit of a cooler condition. But, friends, The heat is here, and if your AC is not working as it should, you need someone that you can trust to make those repairs jiffy quick, get out to your home as quickly as possible, repair that AC, and get it done for the least amount of money possible. You're a baller on a budget, right? That person is Jeff Eddy, and that company is Efficient Heating and Cooling. They've done it for me, and they can do it for you. If you need a second opinion, that's a great idea, too. The best way to cut off costly repairs is get the maintenance on your unit done, and if you've not done that already, what are you waiting on? Let's do it. With Efficient Heating and Cooling, you never have to pay over $125 on a service call, maintenance call in their service area. That's just the bottom line. Plus, you get the maintenance guarantee for the rest of the summer. Now, at some point, you have to replace. And if you've come to that point, I did when I bought the house. You know the story. It cracked heater body, and it had to be done. But I knew that I was dealing with the right people who were telling me the exact truth about what was going on, and they gave me options, which was nice. They said, you can do this. You can replace the heater body, or you can, you can try to repair it. We wouldn't recommend that because of the nature of the problem, or you can replace the entire unit. We went with a unit replacement. But the choice was up to us, which is nice. Efficient Heating and Cooling. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They offer financing if needed. EfficientHVAC.net. EfficientHVAC.net, or call 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for Efficient. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is time for Matt Murphy Movie Mayhem. An opportunity for us to turn back the pages of time, find those wonderful movies that we perhaps missed, and present them to the listening audience, and you get to vote on the YouTube chat. The YouTube chat poll will be up presently, and we invite you to vote on movie A, movie B, or movie C. And Jackson and I will watch said film and review it coming up on Tuesday. I have previously announced, hey, gentlemen, what's going on? Jay's still back in the news closet. I appreciate that. What's up, Jay?
Hello.
Jay's ready to go, but he's waiting on us.
Yes,
which is nice.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Jay, we're gonna get your film and then let you get the heck out of here because you're a busy beaver. So, Jay Harper, what is your movie nominee for Matt Murphy Movie Mayhem?
All right. This is a little perhaps off the wall to some, but Matt, I take that you are like me in the fact that you're kind of you're a sentimental guy. I'm a mush bucket. I'm not afraid to. I'll tear up at movies and certain shows and stuff. Oh, yeah. And you are also a man who really takes family and that family bond very seriously. Having said all that, the motion picture from 1990, Barry Levinson, writer and director of the film Avalon. Wonderful film that I think, it was nominated, Golden Globe nominated for Best Picture in 1991. Randy Newman wrote the score. Anyway, Avalon, written and directed by Barry Levinson, released in 1990. I think you would really enjoy that film.
I've never seen Avalon. Jackson, have you ever seen Avalon?
I have not.
I have not either. Would you? Do you have just a short plot synopsis, Jay? Or
sure. Based on the family history, and it is thought to mirror Barry Levinson's family.
Okay.
Follows the immigrant, a Polish-Jewish family. They settle in Baltimore during the early 20th century. And it just shows the kind of the conflict, if that's the word, of how the immigrant family arrives and what their descendant or their family, the kids and all that grow up. I won't give away too much of things, but it's just a warm family film, I think, and it just shows the culture clash, I guess, between immigrants and the family that they raise in America who are born here.
Jay, it's being reported that Christopher Walken is in the film. Is this correct?
In that film?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, all right.
He's very much not in the film.
Okay, well then 5467 might be talking about something different. I don't know.
I'll go next.
All right. Well, fine. By all means, Jackson.
This is a movie that I quote often. It's a movie I know you haven't seen because I've asked you about it before.
Uh-huh.
It is a sequel. It is 2012's Anchorman 2.
I've not seen Anchorman 2. I've not.
My favorite quote, you can't smoke crack on live television.
Huh. I enjoyed the hell out of Anchorman 1.
And 2 is just more, if you liked 1, you're going to like 2.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's ultimately, it's a fun.
Because they go to the network and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's very fun.
All
It's
right.
very, it's a good time.
I like it. I like the nomination. My film is The Matrix. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, so I don't know what year The Matrix came out, but it was Keanu Reeves. It is a fabulous movie. The Matrix used to seem, futuristic and unrealistic. Now it's increasingly with all of these data centers, you think, my goodness gracious, are we becoming The Matrix? But I have a difficult time figuring out how you missed The Matrix. And I guess maybe it was just a little before your time. That's how you missed it.
Well, it's also R-rated.
Oh, yeah. So growing up, you're probably not going to see it.
I'm not watching.
But it holds up. I saw it. I'd be happy to watch it again. I saw it maybe a year or so ago, and I felt like the special effects alone, it was a game changer in some of the stylistic cinema choices that they made, and some of the visuals and the special effects that they did with the slow motion capture. Just so good. One of the best lines in that movie, dodge this. Oh, it's great. And
Matt, the first time I saw that, I kind of didn't get it, but I've seen, I watched it again and loved it. And it's one of my faves as well now.
When you realize you're the one, you won't have to. He said he can dodge. They say you can dodge bullets when you feel like you're the one. Anyway.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
Well, that's another great film that we've all seen, Dodgeball. So those are the 3 nominees. Vote on the YouTube chat. You can vote for The Matrix. You can vote for Avalon. You can vote for, what was yours again there? Anchorman 2. And once the voting will be complete in like 10 minutes. So you only got about 10 minutes to vote. We'll figure that out, and we'll get a decision from the listening audience. Rounders is a fabulous movie. Y'all, I mean, there's a lot of suggestions coming in on the super text line. And I would say this, a lot of good movies out there. And I'm going to figure out a way to incorporate a 4th option at some point. Right now, we haven't figured it out because we got to vet it in some fashion. But I want a listener option. But for right now, you get to decide the film between Avalon, The Matrix, and Anchorman 2. Vote early, vote often on the YouTube chat. Go over there and you can vote. And, stay a while and communicate with the YouTuber. Those folks are crazy over there. I don't know. Have you seen them over there, Jack? That is like the wild, wild west.
Yeah, they do go off the rails over there.
It is unmonitored. It is unvetted, and it is
crazy. They sometimes say swear words.
Sometimes. Are you kidding?
Oh, there's one right now.
Is it really? I wouldn't put it past them. All right, so there you go. 46 after the hour. Real quick, a couple of news items that we'll get to before we get out of here. I mentioned that the 3-judge panel is reportedly indicating that the litigants should not expect a decision from the bench, but according to the Center Square, they said that they should expect a written decision to be issued very quickly. What decision? This is on the redrawing of district lines. A 3-judge panel consolidated the 3 different lawsuits, and they are overseeing the case. Arguments have been made. They were made on Wednesday before the 3-judge panel, which reportedly consists of Judge James Gass of Sevierville, Chancellor Ann Martin of Nashville, and Chancellor Tony Childress of Dyersburg. The panel reportedly indicated that they will have a swift, quick decision. Tennessee's primaries will be held on August 6th. That gives the panel less than 3 months to reach their decision if they intend to release it in time for the elections. Obviously, they would expect that one would expect that they do. Filed on May 8th. By the Tennessee Conference of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP, and its president. The lawsuit argues that the Tennessee lawmakers exceeded Lee's instructions by additionally modifying state law, which prohibited midterm redistricting. They did that actually prior to doing all of this, but whatever. The lawsuit was destined for review by the panel Jonathan Skermetti, our Tennessee Attorney General, has invoked a new state law that requires any litigation challenging the constitutionality of a state law to be reviewed by 3 judges from throughout Tennessee, which is exactly what's happening in this case. The case proceeds in state court while 3 federal lawsuits, I don't want to screw this up, 3 federal lawsuits that have recently been consolidated. So it was the federal lawsuits consolidated. They will be under Trump-appointed U.S. District Judge William Campbell. That proceeds toward review by another panel of 3 judges as required by statute. My expectation is that all of this will be wrapped up before June is over. And by July, before Independence Day, we will know that the new district lines have been confirmed, and these will be the lines that will be voted on come August in the primary and ultimately November in the general election. 615-737-9986. We're going to wrap it up and call it a weekend in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, winding down the week. I thank you for being here, whatever time you've been able to give us, whether it's a couple of minutes every day, whether it's a couple of minutes a couple of times a week, or maybe it's the full 4 hours. I so deeply appreciate you. You're the reason we're here. We get paid to be here. You do not. And we're very, very thankful for your participation, either active on the phone lines, passively, maybe on the text line and whatnot, or just listening. We so do thank you for everything that you bring to the table. Speaking of bringing things to the table, Jackson, what do we got on? So far, so good with the vote. What's happening in the tally there over on the YouTube chat, buddy?
We are calling a vote.
We're calling it?
Calling it.
You're calling it. 55 after the hour. Yeah, no, it's been 10 minutes, and we got to have time. You want to bump, 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 bump. Or you could just do the, is your horn? Oh, there you go. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the tally. Matt Murphy Movie Mayhem will include the viewing of a cinema masterpiece over the weekend. Jackson Williams, tell us what that film will be.
We will go in reverse order.
Okay.
In third place with 20% of the vote, Anchorman 2.
Oh, I'm a little surprised about that.
In second place with 22% of the vote, Avalon.
Whew.
First place, The Matrix, 58% of the vote.
I love Jay Harper, but Avalon seemed heavy.
Yeah.
I kind of looked it up. Seemed heavy. I didn't want heavy. Matrix? Man, I love the film. Keanu's great. I won't say much more about it. You hate it when I spoil it with some of the lines from the movies, which I love to do. So I will not say a word. Do you know anything about the movie?
Red pill or blue pill?
Okay, yeah, that's a good starting spot, but that's about all you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna love this thing. You're gonna love this thing. So I'm very I anticipate that coming up on Tuesday, where we'll go over that. I'm fascinated, but before we go, during the show, I check. I don't check the Instagram so much, although I'm on the Instagram a little bit more than I used to be because I'm enjoying it. I mean, I don't do. I have a TikTok account, but I don't do that. I check in every so often when I feel like the Chinese need to know what's going on in my life. But I rarely go over there. I go on the Facebook just to, because it's what old people do. But mostly I'm on the X machine. And so I'll check the X machine, a.k.a. the Twitter, during the show. And I've been having this ongoing debate, and guys, I understand that there is a sentiment that Nashville has become something that some of the locals don't want it to be. And I understand that nostalgia is a form of depression. But, Jackson, you might not know this. There are people that are arguing with me on social media, on the X machine, that the Super Bowl coming to Nashville is a bad thing.
Being a premier city is a bad thing?
The argument is that it will not be good for the city to host the Super Bowl, which, I mean, I guess I can see where people might think that Nashville's spending too much money on infrastructure and otherwise just improving the city. But the argument that intrigues me more than any is that this will not be a positive economic impact for the city of Nashville.
No, Matt.
On balance, I don't. I understand that it might be a pain in our ass. I understand that you might not like it because, I mean, frankly, I'm probably not going to like that week very much because I have to work. We have to work down here, and we're going to have to deal with a hell of a lot of people. And if I don't have access to go to some of these things, which I probably won't.
I'm going to be boots on the ground.
Are you now?
Don't know how yet.
Oh, see, that's what he does to me, y'all. I snatched him away from the sports people, and he's going to be Mr. Sports in 2030. I promise you that. Hey, you're gonna just be there at New Suit's office, and anything you need, Paul, I'm here for you. Tell me I'm wrong. I'll probably,
You're not. I want to go.
I'll probably be right
I'll bring
behind
you with me.
I'll probably be right behind you. The idea that this is going to be a positive economic impact is it's a weird take. It's a weird take, but I'm here for it. I'm here for the entertainment. But we got a few years to debate it. Because that's not happening for a number of years. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. I want you to remember the reason of Memorial Day. We're not back until Tuesday. Best ofs on Monday. And until that Tuesday edition of the Matt Murphy Show, this is Matt Murphy speaking and saying for Jackson Williams, for Jay Harper, for Ken Weaver, wherever he might be, have a lovely weekend. God bless America and God bless our veterans, especially those who died in service. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.